everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Unofficial PlayStation Plus podcast, your monthly slice for all things PlayStation Plus. News, reviews, reactions, opinions, we got them all. Some Sunday of the month. Sometimes it's a first, sometimes it's a last, sometimes who knows. I'm your host.
Sometimes it's not even a Sunday.
I'm your host, Vincent Kenny, and joining me on this episode is our very special guest, a returning guest, Mr. Sam, to talk about all things about PlayStation Plus for the month of October 2021.
Hello.
But before
Back by no popular demand.
100%. You always have some of the best episodes, sir. How has life been treating you for the spooky month of October?
In a friggin' drought in California.
That's the real spookiest thing.
Talking to you earlier, I don't remember when the last time was that it rained over here until like last week. Like, rain's a thing. Rain's definitely a thing. Still, who knew? I thought they were extinct.
Yeah. So as always, before we get into the real meat and potatoes of the thing, we just like to start off with what was the last thing you you watched or listened to, be it show, a movie, a book. What non-gaming things have been the center of your world lately?
What non-gaming thing? Oh, the most obvious thing, I recently got a new job.
Okay, that is
That
awesome.
pretty much overtook my life.
No, honestly, I did the same. I got a new job in mid-October actually. I started full time on the 12th.
Nice.
And like the first few weeks I've been like, "Oh yeah, it's awesome. I have this routine again. I'm earning money again. Like there's that stability." But it's just like, "Oh wow, I have no time for show producing or all this other stuff."
I forgot having a full-time job was hell. I was fooled by all the money. I didn't realize all the trap that came along with that.
Exactly. So, like, I'm definitely a lot more tired than I used to be.
Dude, I feel that. I work 12 hours, alternating alternating a 4 and 3 day work week,
yeah,
and
that's
then
rough.
the commute is like 3 hours, so that's 15 hours out of my day.
Damn.
And
And I feel bad because my commute's like 12 minutes.
yeah, it's so insane. When it's work day, I basically I just don't exist anywhere
Yeah.
until I'm off again. That's that's my life right now.
Well,
But today's my off day, so I'm back into existence
that's
a
the
little
worst
bit.
part for me is that not only do I have the job, I have a child I have to help raise. So
Oh man.
I come straight home from work and then I have to feed her, take care of her, do all that other stuff, and it gets to like an hour before bed, and it's like we could watch a show, or we could do this, or I just could go to bed early and sleep. And that's usually what wins most times.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Sleep is important.
yes, I can honestly say that, especially because what was it last night? Just as like because we're recording this very late, just because of schedules and whatnot. But as like a Halloween treat, we let her just have like a sleepover and like do all this other stuff.
Oh,
So
get
no,
sleep over.
well,
That just sounds exhausting.
well, no, it was just like us. So like
Oh,
she
just you guys. Okay, I thought you had
exactly.
like a
She came
bunch of
into
her
our
friends.
room. No, she came into our room, and we just like stayed up late and watching movies and whatever. But like that bed is far
Nice.
too small, so like I got maybe 2 hours of sleep. She was like kicking
And
me
then
in
you
the
ended
head.
up on the ground. You're like,
Exactly,
I'll make the sacrifice. Just do your thing. I'll be on the ground.
exactly. I was like, I didn't have any blankets. I was getting kicked in the head. It was just like, so I woke up so grumpy today, and I was just like, I love you. You're amazing. We're not doing that again for a while. Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, but no. Aside from that, me and the missus are, uh, sl- a lot of
Going strong.
no, I was gonna say a lot of our shows right now have been kind of in preparation for stuff. So we
Mm.
just recently finished watching Cowboy Bebop because she had never seen that
Uh,
before.
uh, the original anime. I've been
Yes.
meaning to watch that.
It's pretty good.
It has cowboy,
Well, no,
which I love,
yeah,
and
it,
space, which I love.
yeah,
It should be my thing.
exactly. I really enjoyed it. It's just very interesting from the brief trailers we've seen of how the Netflix seems to be very different from what the
Oh yeah,
anime
well,
is. But
yeah. I
I'm
was
all
about to
for
ask
that.
you that about the Netflix show because you just saw the anime.
Well, yeah, because I think it's November 11th, so it's still got a few days before it comes out.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I didn't realize it's like pretty much like out or
uh,
like close to, very close to be out.
well, yeah, exactly, because the next one
Oh,
for us is that I've never seen Witcher season one, so we're probably gonna
oh,
watch
same.
that before
We're gonna
season
get
two.
crucified, man. Oh my god.
Yeah. And what was it? I've talking to some friends today, and was I believe the newest season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure comes out in December.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, it comes out in December. So I'm like, ooh, I could do that, and so I'm just falling behind on still many other shows I wanted to watch.
You, you don't even have to feel bad about it. Like I said, outside of my off day, I just don't exist. And when I'm on my off days, I'm just too damn tired to do anything.
Yeah, that's the worst part is like for good and for bad, I do enjoy having the show because it does force me to sit down and go like, all right, you have to play this game for the show. You have to sit down, do the research, do all that other stuff. Excuse me, I'm choking on candy corn. Very professional. Yeah, I know, but it does force me to like play. Go like, all right, I have to play the show. I can be able to talk to it. That being said, this month I only played a little bit because you and I have both played the big headliner game for this month. So why don't we get
Yes,
right into it? Um,
yes.
by not talking about that and talking about the other games. Um, well, here I'm gonna breeze through.
Let's just
Well, I'm gonna breeze
say
through the
the
other
only
ones.
one thing that we both played and get the other one that we didn't have time to get to
Well,
out
that's gonna
first.
say because yes. So your plus games for October 2021 were Hell's Let Loose. It was excuse me. It was created
So,
by Team 17, and it was first released on June 6th, 2019. It has a Metacritic of oh geez, my mouse is working. Oh, my mouse is frozen. 73% on Metacritic, and I couldn't find any sales data. I did not even play this game. I didn't even look this game up. I'm gonna be perfectly frank.
um, I did not know this game existed until like 2 minutes ago.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
Didn't even.
I always feel bad because there is always that one, the fact that there's three games, there's always that one game where you're just like, all right, I'm not even going to pay this one any attention of mine. You're like, I'm kind of interested in the other ones, and the other one just falls to the wayside. But yeah, so I guess, like you said there, you really have not much to say. It just like seems to be
Nope.
yeah, it's a tactical first-person shooter. Player fights in the iconic Western and Eastern fronts of World War II on the platoon. Blah 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 blah. So it's just a first-person
Oh,
shooter. Got
that
mixed. I something I will say, especially with what was it? I believe because is Call of Duty not going back to World War II for this year for Vanguard?
uh, is it not? I haven't been. I've been out of the loop.
Well, what I was just gonna say real
I
quick.
only know the name.
Yes. What I was gonna say for you is just like what are your thoughts on the whole the fact that World War II has come back somehow? uh,
I think it's cool. It's one of the most iconic and biggest events in pretty much the history of the world, and very like marketable for pretty
that
much anything, right?
well that's what I find most interesting because yeah, Call of Duty Vanguard, it's about World War II, Eastern Front, Western Front, blah 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 blah. The one thing I find
Oh,
interesting is what was it? A few years ago we had Call of Duty World War II, and that
oh
was
right, yeah.
and that was
So this
kind of
is another World War II Call of Duty
exactly.
then.
So and then you
Ah,
have Hell Let Loose and God, like the PS2 is 20 years old, so we're going on 20 years of World War II games. Like we've been making World War II games longer than this war actually went on. And I just like I don't know how much material we can really draw from this. I feel like we've gotten everything from specifically World War II.
No, we still got an untapped market on World War II, and you know what that is?
What's that?
It's the untapped market of licensed World War II movie tied-in video games.
See now, if no, you say that as a joke, but like if they did something like, "Hey, this is connected to like Band of Brothers or Saving Private Ryan or something like that,"
Like,
I
you
I
get to
would be
play as
kind of
Tom Hanks. How cool would that be?
Dude, I would totally pay $80 to play as Tom Hanks in Call of Duty, or
Oh
especially because
man, this is gonna be amazing.
what they use.
And then Tom Hanks Call of Duty 3 and shows up in Fortnite at some point. Oh gosh.
Yes, okay, that is the crossover we're all waiting for. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have much more to say, unless you do, sir.
On the Hell Let
Yeah,
Loose?
I'll let
Hell
loose.
Let Loose?
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm
no,
sure.
like I have no idea what this game is, but
Yeah, it's just a World
I
War II
didn't
shooter.
know it was a World War II first-person shooter. That did not come across
Yep,
to me. As soon as I heard the name, I thought it was
a
like a
horror
weird,
game.
wacky little game about, and not World War II.
But all right,
But
we can move on to the next game, which was PGA Tour 2K21. It is
uh, can,
developed
can you repeat that?
PGA Tour 2K21.
PJ Tour
Yes.
2K21.
So it is yeah.
Sounds like a bike game.
Nope, it is a golf game.
Okay.
Developed by HB Studios. It was released in August of 2021, and it has a Metacritic
Oh,
score of
oh, that's recent.
76. So again, this is one of those things. I don't have much to say about it because I'm not the biggest like sports
Golf
fan. Yeah,
person,
let alone golf. Like the
let
last
alone golf.
the last golf game I played was Mario Golf in June, and I was really loving that game, and then I just hit the wall because it goes from like this is how you hit a birdie, this is how you putt, to like okay, now you gotta like lob your ball across the water, like knock it off Bowser's head, and like get 3 trick shots, and I'm just like this is too like, and my fiance was
And that one meme with the lady with all the math equations just floating around, just slowly show up in your head like, yeah, no, no.
my fiance would constantly come up to me and she'd be like, "Oh, how's Mario Golf doing?" And I'm just like, "Freaking Toad, man." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I I had like a +3, and then somehow Toad came around, and I just like nerfed all the shots, and Toad came out of nowhere." Like I had to put that game down for a bit because I just like I hit this wall where like
Speaking,
Toad was too good, and like I took some time off, came back. I made a little bit of progress, and then I hit another wall. And to be honest, I haven't played it since then.
no one wants to get shown up by Toad, man. I understand.
But yeah, no, here's a weird thing for me is golf is one of those things, much like I guess kind of fishing. The actual sport itself, I'm not the biggest fan of, but for whatever reason, when it's in video game form, I love video
Right.
game golf. Like I kid you not, in Grand Theft Auto Online, I probably put like 7 hours just into the one golf course. I would just play that over and over and over and over again. Like I literally did a whole stream of that. It was just an hour and a half of the same golf course over and over and over. But like
Yeah,
it's
I get
same with
that.
like
I'm trying to think of a sports game that I'm really into, like how you said you into golf, but only in video game form.
because even
I'm
for
trying to
me,
think of
it
that
was
thing for me, but I got nothing.
well
I'm
no
pretty
because
sure I played something at some point, but
well
can't think of anything right now.
that's why I find most interesting. It's like I'll play Madden and NHL every like odd year. Like I'm not the person who buys it every single
Yeah,
year, but like every 2 or 3 years, I'm always like, hey, let me check in with NHL, see what they're doing, see what's hopping, and then like I'll leave for a bit. But yeah,
but
like
did you notice any changes? Because you don't
see
get it every
exactly.
year, and like you said. So if you have it every maybe how many
Exactly.
years? Like every other year,
Pretty much,
are
yeah.
there any changes? Do you notice any changes in those games? Because they are notorious for
It's
like copy and paste the games,
it's
so
always
to
such
speak.
minor stuff like, oh, we changed like the way the plays are laid out, but like yeah, a lot of the content's the same, and that's why I don't feel the need to buy every single year. Uh,
And
yeah,
they always make like the big presentations and like uh showcases. Like these sports games like make they always have like a dedicated section to them and like, oh, we're gonna innovate this.
yeah,
We're gonna
like the
innovate
putting
that.
control.
And
This
I'm
year is
yep,
only about putting controls.
yep,
Next year is
yep.
only about like the approach. Yeah, and that's what
And
like
this dude's gonna move his angle
yeah.
an extra bit from last year. So you can, act this way a little more than last time.
Yeah, that's why I definitely enjoy the more I guess like arcadey stuff like Mario,
Arcade, yeah.
like the Mario series and Everybody Loves Golf and all that other stuff. Like I just
Hot shot, hot shot golf.
yeah, exactly. Hot Shot Golfs, I love that. Like
Now, that used to be my jam, man, on the PS2. Oof.
it's funny because
Oh, yeah.
that game is the reason I have not changed my PSN profile because
Hot shot.
yeah, no, legitimately because when they announce like the name changes, they're like, hey, we tested it. Um, your name change will be fine, except for these like 13 titles. If you change your name, it's gonna mess with the save files. We don't know how to fix it, and one of the games was Hotshot Golf. So I'm like, oh well, I like
Ah.
Hotshot Golf, so I'm not gonna change my name because I don't want my save file to be messed up. So
So the thing is, though, I did change my name on PSN,
yeah,
and nothing's messed up, but I might be in the minority, and I don't
well, exactly.
play.
Like they said,
Maybe it's like for multiplayer games. I think that might be tricky, but I don't play too many multiplayer games. But I do play Overwatch, and that thing's fine for me. But I don't know about the other title.
exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, if you give me half a second while I found, but yeah, like that's the thing is again, actual golf. I don't watch actual golf. I haven't been to the golf course, but there's just something kind of relaxing and kind of tranquil, but about just hitting like a virtual ball around a course. Um, affected by name change. Yeah, so like I that's what I'm saying. So like even.
What's happening?
I'm filling time. Oh, there we go. Yeah, yeah, because this was it 2019. Filling time as I sing a rhyme. Here we go.
Now
Po.
you need to up your game and start rapping. I think that's what the kids like
Okay,
to
so
listen.
yeah, so the games that have critical issues, like your stuff's just gonna be messed up if you change your name, are Disc Jam, Everybody's Golf,
Uh,
Just Dance 2017, Little Big
uh,
Planet 3, MLB The Show 14, 15, and 16, Omni Rush, The Golf Club, and Worms Battleground. So like,
hmm.
yeah, so like there's other stuff.
Only like two or three of those are like big titles,
Yeah,
so that's not bad.
yeah, because there's stuff like you because they says known issues. So like they said, there's some issues in Call of
Yeah.
Duty Ghost, Dark Souls 3,
Yeah,
Injustice 2.
I remember hearing that.
But
Yeah.
those are kind of like limited. Like, hey, you might have an issue. They're saying for Everybody's Golf, like yes, it will mess up your save. We don't know how to do it. And I was just like, I kid you not, like I spent hours in the character creator because I just made like a little Mario.
Oh man.
I made a Kratos.
Uh,
I made the dude from Yakuza. So like I would just I just
nice.
yeah like I think I like made a little Tommy Vercetti.
Uh,
But yeah, so that's the thing is like I'm like I could reset
okay,
my
can we go on a little tangent
go
with
for it.
like character creator?
Yeah.
You know how like in like Skyrim and like Fallout and the Mass Effect games, you have the character creator,
Yep.
but they kind of sucked
Yep.
for the most part, or or not all of them. The Bioware games tend to have like crappy character creators, and then they would always look weird, and then I would spend like you, like hours on end just trying to get everything right, and then having to go into the game, and then play for about, I don't know, like 2 hours to see like, okay, how does this dude look at this angle? Oh, nope, it's fucked up.
Exactly.
Okay, restart, and then it would be that process for like maybe 6 hours total before I actually sit down and play the game.
Yes, I think I probably spent more time designing the golf course than I did actually playing the game.
Were you gonna design golf course?
Yes. Was and
Oh,
there.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's Golf is a great game. If you, I believe it might have been on Play at Home. If not, either way, play it. It's on PS4. It's a great game. It also has a VR mode, which is, from what I remember. But yeah, like actually, now that I said that, I would like to try Everybody's Golf in VR
Yeah.
because I've never tried a VR golfing game, so I'm curious how I'd like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't really have much more to say about PGA. I think again that's one of those games I guarantee if I actually sat down and gave it the time it needed, I probably have
you
a
might have
blast.
liked it. Yeah.
Yes, but I have 30 or 40 other things where I'm like, all right,
Yep.
let me
Yep.
rage
Yep.
quit at Mario before I deal with the PGA. Because at least
I
Mario.
got kids to raise and bills to pay.
But no, so let's move on
Podcast to make.
to the main headliner for this month, which of course was Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, boy.
It
The only thing, the only reason I'm here,
it, was,
my sole purpose.
it was released in April 7th of 2015. It was created by NetherRealm Studios, and it has a Metacritic of 83%. So yes, as you said, I typically try to cater each episode to a guest specific.
Big title, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, like again, you are definitely like my go-to fighting game guy. You know, like
Yep.
the frame dating, all that other stuff, and then like I've had
Frame dating.
you know, you take them out.
Is that like a new form of like dating that I'm not aware of?
That does sound like a
Frame dating.
yeah, like a Tinder ripoff. Ooh, it's a frame date. It's not.
Frame dating.
It's not Netflix.
Oh,
and chill.
I know what it is.
It's
I know what it is. It's a dating app for photographers.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Dang. Frame
Yes.
dating.
But yes.
Okay. Whoever, do we have any like entrepreneurs up in here? That's a free one, but please
Go.
but give me some credit if you use that name.
Put us in the fine
It's
print.
free. You can keep everything. Give me the credit and
Right.
maybe like 2%.
That's hey, like 2% of a billion is a lot.
Yeah, I will take the 2% of a million.
Yeah. So for good and for bad, we played this game when it first came out, so I don't think either of us remember the plot too much that like we can talk.
I kind of do.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Not all the details, yeah.
But exactly, so we can kind of speak in generalness without actually going into spoilers, just because
Yep.
I don't remember much of the plot. But
But
so,
do
yeah.
we want to go to spoilers? Because I think we can at this point because it's been what, 6 years?
Exactly. But yeah, for me personally, I've gone on record before and I've said that Mortal Kombat 9 is hands down my favorite fighting game of all time.
Mortal Kombat 9.
Yes, the one before this on the PS3.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, the remake, right?
Yes, and
The remake right before this one.
yes, and the reason I liked that one so much was it was an introduction to this series, but it also, you know, the thing I kind of liked was that it had a bigger focus on story, but there
Yep.
was still the fun, silly, goofy modes. Like I remember the
Oh
one
yeah.
where you had to like punch someone, like only do uppercuts to make their head grow bigger and explode, or there was one where you had to hit people like you had to do like high, mid, or low, and where you hit a person, like only those attacks would deal damage. Or there was another one where it was basically like Splatoon where you had to do moves that caused blood spill and you had to paint the arena in your opponent's blood. So it wasn't just a case
Uh,
of like getting more damage. You actually had to plan, okay, well if I do an uppercut here, it
so
will send
there's
the
like
blood.
a whole fighting,
Yeah,
like a fighting mode where you fight another person, and those are the rules.
yes, all the
Mm,
yeah,
okay.
and the one is they had the special missions where you're Luke Kang and there's zombies coming at you
Luke can.
and you have to throw fireballs. But the thing I liked was that they actually made the way you throw fireballs the way you perform the move in games. So by playing these mini games, you could actually learn and practice the game without having to actually be a match.
Okay.
So yeah, so I loved 9. 9 still is like amazing. Like I think it has that right blend for me of I don't think Mortal Kombat should be too serious. Um,
Yeah.
but I think
We'll get into that on this one. We'll get
yes.
into that on this
Yeah,
one.
so 9 had that right mix of like it was serious, but it was kind of
But it's
goofy and like
silly
yeah,
and like
exactly.
over the top crazy still.
Exactly. Like again, I'm a man enough to admit the females outfits very
I knew it.
very
I knew it.
yeah, inappropriate. They are not the most like I can fully admit like yeah, those outfits need to be updated and tweaked. There's definitely things wrong with that game, but like I think I just loved it for the silly fun of like hey, like it introduced me into Mortal Kombat like cuz again, I played it as a kid. I played it even like on the PS2, but like I wasn't like a huge fan and 9 like made me like ravenous for the content.
Yeah, Not Nine is the most seminal Mortal Kombat just because of that reason. Because I don't think it was like the coherent fighting game. Not coherent, but like narratively coherent. Even
Exactly.
the most what what am I looking for? Is like
Well, they're trying to
lore heavy fighting game, but
yeah, because they
it's
combined
like
like 3 games.
convoluted lore, right?
Exactly.
You don't know what the hell's going on, and then you have nine, which is pretty much like, okay, we will start over, but
Exactly.
we will take a lot of the old stuff, sprinkle in there, put a little focus on it, make it like a nice little, you know,
It's
condensed focus package
yeah, it's
for
something
like
for
everybody.
yeah for new fans and for old. Because even if you've played the
Yeah.
old games, it has a totally new plot, and part of that new plot involved killing half the cast, which I was like,
Dude, that was ballsy. I remember that. I remember playing that game and then came
yeah,
like, and I got to that, I was like, what the goddamn shit?
yeah, because I remember the game ended and it was pretty much just like Sonya Blade,
Sonya Blade,
Luke Cage,
Johnny Cage
Johnny
left.
Cage, and Raiden. That was it. And I'm like,
Yep.
how?
Oh yeah,
how
they killed freaking Liu Kang,
yep.
dude. What the hell?
Yeah. So they did. So they killed like pretty much all the major characters. I was just
All the
like,
cast.
how? How are they going to keep this plot going? And the answer to that is they did a
And
time
they
skip.
did.
They did a time skip. So before we do any of the other stuff, I just want to know like what are your thoughts on? Because they're not the first fighting game to do this, but what are your thoughts when a fighting game kind of resets the whole cast and puts like a whole different
That's the whole thing.
yeah?
Oh, whole different cast.
Because what's it?
Um,
I believe Street Fighter 3 did that. Um, I believe one of
I don't know about any other franchises that do that except this one, so I can't really say anything on that. But
yeah. Um,
what are my thoughts on?
just them resetting the cast.
Uh, it's they needed it because they have had the same cast for like pretty much a decade, and nothing really changes like throughout. There was I think it was Armageddon,
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I think it might have been the one right before this one. That was meant to be the end of the the 2000s Mortal Kombat storyline and whatnot. It's supposed to be like the end cap, and the opening of MK9 with the pyramid and everybody fighting each other.
Yeah,
Do you remember that? That was
yeah.
the opening of Armageddon, or the opening movie of Armageddon. It's continued from that. And Armageddon, if I remember, you could play pretty much literally every single Mortal Kombat character in that game,
Yeah.
and the cast was huge. But the thing about Mortal Kombat characters is not always cool.
No.
They have like a lot of random shitty ass characters that like it's just not that cool. We got a character literally called Meat, Meat, Meat,
Yeah.
and he just like you remember that?
Yep. There was a
You
dude.
remember him?
Wasn't there a dude who was like a mocap guy?
Yeah, that's a little mocap dude. I think that was an inside joke actually.
um, but no, yeah. So that's what I find interesting with X is because I'm just looking up the plot here real quick. And the thing I found most interesting was there's actually two plots in this game, and they kind of hop between the two. And then you have the one plot which is 2 years after defeat of Shao Kahn. It's about Liu Kang and Katana and all these other characters coming back from the dead, and they're evil now, and all this other stuff. And then it cuts in between that, and then the kids of so you have Cassie Cage, and you have Jackie Cage, and you have Kun Lao's cousin Kun Jing.
Cool. Hold on, I might get
Yeah,
Kung Jin,
yeah, Kun
Kung
Jing.
Jin, right? The arrow guy.
Yeah, and that's the thing I find most interesting is I actually really like both of those plots. The problem is that I feel like the game can't decide which one it wants to pick on, and because of that, I feel like I don't really get what I want from either. Because like they kind of overlap, where like again, spoilers for all of MKX or Mortal Kombat, but like was it Jax died, and then Jack comes back, and then he
Yeah. Okay.
like
Yeah, that's another weird thing. I don't know if you know about this, but there was like a comic tie into MKX
yeah, and
by Dark Horse
mm,
that like you remember how like MKX opened with like the little war thing, right?
mm-hmm,
And then it did like a little time skip,
yep,
and the comic series supposed to fill up what happened during that time skip and what happened to like all the characters, but not everybody read the comic.
exactly.
So
There's
when I played it, it was like, wait, what the happened?
yeah, no, and it definitely feels like that because like I said, it doesn't feel like there's some big revelation. It really just feels like two halves of the story that you're kind of like. I like again. I like the new characters for what they were, but the problem was like at the end of the day, it's like I really didn't get to learn much about Cassie. I didn't learn about Jacqueline. Like I know they had a few scenes together. I know her and her team kind of come together, but like it just wasn't enough. And then looking forward into 11, but they were kind of pushed to the side for like the past version of the characters, like for the young Johnny and the young Sonya,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks because like I enjoy Jacqueline, I enjoy Cassie, I want to see these characters, but it does suck when like they're taken away from people like Liu Kang and Katana and all these other people.
And I think the new characters actually got more developed in 11
Yep.
than they did in the narrative of MKX, which is kind of weird.
Yep. Yeah, because like the one scene I remember from this game, and it's a very, it's not a very action heavy scene, but like there's a scene in this game where Scorpion and Sub Zero just sit down and they just talk, and they're like, "Hey, we've been like
Oh yeah,
killing and fighting and murdering each other for like hundreds of years, and like, hey, let's just sit down and talk and
have some tea.
yeah, have some tea and bury the hatchet and like, and that's a really cool scene. It's
No, yeah, that's a really dope scene.
yeah, like
That's when you know they're like pushing the narrative
exactly,
forward, right?
and that's the thing. It's just like there are dope moments in this game, and there's like dope moments in 11, but like I guess light spoilers for 11. The thing that sucks for me is like we have this new universe and it's been rebooted, and it's just like I feel like we really did not spend a lot of time in this world. I would have loved to see like a whole game of just Raiden having to get new warriors, and then him fighting like the evil Liu Kang and this whatever, or like a whole game with Cassie and her team.
Yeah.
Like we only got this half thing, and like it just again it leaves me wanting more. I like you said, there's the comics, there's the other stuff. There's definitely more material with these characters because what was it? Even one of my mains, Aaron Black, his whole origin is just in a comic. So there's plenty of like outside.
Oh, I didn't
material.
know that.
Yeah, no, because I remember that when the game came out, because I'm like, who is this man? What is going on? And it was just like, oh yeah, here's like a 7-issue comic all about Aaron
You want to
Black.
know, read these comics.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're not going to tell you about it in the game.
No.
Okay.
Like,
come on.
yeah, like they don't hide important information, but you can definitely tell it's like not the whole thing, and that's what, like I said, and then kind of going back to my earlier thing. Hey, look, I love the scene with Sub-Zero and Scorpion having tea. That's probably like one of the best acted moments of this trilogy. Like it's
Yep.
just two people talking. They're not fighting. There's no blood. It's just two people talking, and it's very well acted.
And
But
it gave us one of the best scenes in MK11 of them like teaming up,
yeah,
fire and ice, fighting in
the
the
factory.
facility. Oh, dude, that is so bad. Because like they're gonna have to come together. Like
Yeah, but the main issue for me is
I,
like,
wa- I was gonna say something, but I realized it's gonna be a spoiler for another thing, so I stopped. But
well,
when like two forces,
yeah,
they're gonna they're both good, but like they have like different ideologies, but like deep down they're good, but they can't just be eye to eye, and they have to come together. Like it's coming, and then when they come together, it's like the Avengers. Like in
exactly.
the first Avengers, like they all hate each other, but like good people, they're gonna have a team up. Then when they team up, like, oh dude, that is so badass.
Yeah, yeah, because that's the thing is like, this is definitely the most, at least from the three I've played. Like, obviously, again, I've only briefly dabbled the PS2 ones, but like of this current
Yep.
trilogy, this is definitely the most serious one. Um,
Oh yeah,
and like,
and it shows.
yeah,
Well, not in the narrative, but
it would just
in the actual versus mode.
that's what I was about to say in the style and the like. Because I briefly hopped on and I went to just see it, and like I said, compared to 9, where you have all these,
Or even 11 even.
well, yeah, because what was it in 9? You have you have test your luck, which have all these silly modifiers like, hey, you've got a big head, hey, you can't do this, and then for
There's actually test your luck in MKX, but
what,
it's like really boring.
but exactly, it's just stuff like, hey, you can't block, hey, you're poisoned, hey, you can't
And then
duck, like
and then it's just fight one match.
exactly, it's
And
just
then you don't really get anything like what's the point of playing this? Like so a a mode,
well, yeah, that's
right? A complete separate mode just to play one match with random modifiers. You don't really get much out of it,
yeah,
and there's no progression. So why is this a thing? What's
yeah.
the point of this?
But like even then, I wouldn't be fine with it if it was silly. But like you said, it just they really don't. The matches aren't that unique. It just feels like, yeah, again, just random stuff
It
added on.
just it's like a normal match with a little extra things here and
Exactly.
there, but it's not. Yeah, it's not like a big head thing where at least it would be like memorable. It's
Um.
just like a normal match with extra annoying steps.
Exactly.
And that's all it is. Like, why is this a mode?
Yeah. The one thing I found interesting going back was I completely forgot the online towers were a part of this.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I I
the
thought that was
faction,
I thought that was part of
right? Wait, right, the faction.
11.
You're talking
Yeah.
about the faction.
Yeah. I thought that was part of 11. Um. But something
Uh,
I kind of appreciate about 11 is they, again, 11 also doesn't have that many silly, goofy modifiers, but they find ways that the towers are kind of they make each tower feel
Like
unique.
interesting, right?
Exactly,
It's a
like
little different. It's a little different.
yeah, because this one's like, oh, cool. This one's a survival tower. This one, you have like a two-player thing. This one, like, it's
Yeah.
small stuff, but they find the ways to make each tower feel
Yeah.
somewhat
I
unique.
spent a decent amount of time in 11 playing through the towers,
Well, yeah,
even though like sometimes it's not that different. Sometimes it's just like just going through the motions.
a bit.
I want the reward, so I would play the tower, and I would like pick uh the less interesting towers just so that I can beat it with like not much effort.
But yeah,
But but because it's like it has the rewards and all that in 11, so that's why I want to do it. And
e-
then the modifiers they add
exactly.
not too much, but like enough to keep it interesting. Instead of like freaking MKX test your luck, where it just you don't get anything,
Yeah, it just
and the modifiers don't. They make it a little slightly more interesting, but like I said, there's no progression. Like why is this a thing? Because in that you're always progressing up the tower. There's something about seeing like the tower of like fighters, and then you just go up a little higher, higher,
exactly.
higher. That's like, oh, I'm making progress, and it
Yeah,
looks cool. Like the way it shows it, it looks cool.
yeah, and that's what kind of sucked is like, because I briefly went through it and like, you know, you still only have the two fatalities, but like it's such a small thing, but I love 11's customization where I think you only have maybe 3 or 4 costumes, but in each of those costumes can be modified with the different like grips and
Yeah,
armors and whatever.
yeah. So
And then
you have
yeah, you go to
like one costume, and then like three uh different accessories within that costume. Not costume, but in that character, you have like three little things you can change. Like Johnny Cage would have
yeah,
his sunglasses. You can change that. His belt buckle
yeah, yeah, but
and his glove.
and then you go back to 11. It's just like no 3 base costumes. That's it. Like
Three
like
base different colors, but
exact.
it's still it's not bad, right? Because
No,
customization is always good. People like to play dress up.
I well, it's just funny because like I said, like um, I, I always thought when this game came out, like even before I had played 11, I always thought this was torn between like trying to be the silliness of 9 and then being a
And
bit
try to
more
be
serious.
edgy.
Yeah, and like now that we've had 11 and like we've done all this other stuff, this just really does feel like that awkward stepchild of
Yeah.
like because like again, if you want the story and the characters and all that other stuff, I feel like 11 has actually a better plot in this because like
And more character because everyone gets a little bit here and there, even though it's not like the greatest. It's a little more consistent. It's not all over the place as much. I feel like.
yeah, because like I'm looking at what was it the character roster and like what was it like Ferrator, which is like the little
Oh
girl.
yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah,
People don't really like that character because it's just kind of out of nowhere.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
And then you
why is this here?
yeah, and then you have was it just Devora the bug lady and then like
Oh,
Quan
I hate that.
Quan,
I hate that character so much.
yeah, but like but all these characters are in 11 and like you said I think they have better
Oh no,
moments
no,
in
no,
11.
not all of them. The Pharaoh Tour,
No,
they're not in
no,
the 11. They
but
just kill them off because they're like, oh, nope, nope, we just get rid of it, get
yeah,
rid
but
of it.
like but Aaron Black is in it, Devora's in it,
Oh, they gotta have the freaking
Kano is in it.
cowboy
Yeah, and like
in the fighting game. Like,
well I
come
love
on.
he's my like I said I love well actually I guess we can get into that now. That was the main thing going back was I'm not a fighting game like aficionado like you. Like I'm just like I know how to
I
do
wouldn't call
combat.
myself aficionado.
Well, because we've had training matches before,
Yeah,
and you're like, all right, cool. Here's the buttons. Here's 1, 2, 4, or one,
yeah.
two, four, and like, all right, now you're like, here's frame dating. Here's counting, and I'm just like, whoa, you've gone too far for me.
Uh,
I just want to throw a fireball. That's all I want to do.
Just spam the one move. Like I'm good now. I'm
So
good. I got this.
So I don't know if you noticed anything major, but the main thing for me is like I was kind of surprised how much
Oh, in terms of
faster,
like gameplay.
yeah, how much
Oh yeah.
faster it is to 11. 11's a lot
Oh yeah.
slower, but like in a good
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. 11. They wanted to go into Street Fighter 5. I think that's the one
Yep.
where they like slow everything down and it's more methodical,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this one in MKX they went like almost balls to the wall fast.
Yep.
When I picked it up in and played the versus mode, not even the versus, but I went to like practice, right? Okay, let's
Yep.
look at the move, do some moves, do some combos, see what's up. The buttons, the button input, like how fast you have to input the buttons, felt like I needed to be faster than in 11.
Yep.
But that could just be me, like being rusty because I haven't played
Yeah.
fighting game in a while.
Exactly.
But I'm pretty sure like my muscle memory will like retain some of that, but it definitely gave me some trouble. So like, I gotta do this fast.
Yeah. Which.
And you can actually run in this game.
Oh
In
yeah.
11, you can only do dashes. I don't really like the run mechanic, but maybe that's just because I'm not used to it.
Well, that's
But
what.
it definitely makes it feel like faster
Well,
in the
yeah.
other one.
Yeah. Because the other thing I totally forgot was this game also has the different styles. But if I recall correctly,
Variations.
yes. But if I recall, like those are just set. Like I don't think you can modify those too much. I think.
No.
Yeah.
Uh, you can do that in 11.
Yeah.
You can modify. You can have custom variations, but you couldn't use those in competitive matches until like much later in 11. So
Yeah.
you basically have the same thing
Mm.
here with different variations. You have to pick one and all that. I'm not a fan of these. I don't know who came up with this
Well,
idea. Like I'm pretty sure like everybody in the community didn't like variations. Like why do I have to?
it,
Why
it,
can't I just be Johnny? Right? I have to be
well, yeah, because
Johnny Dash this this version.
because it
And I'm just missing some move. It just doesn't feel
exactly
good.
that's it right there. Is that the one thing I remember is that like you would learn certain moves, but it's like let's just say like the sweeping kick was only on the first move, or if you wanted to do like a overhand fireball, that was on the second move. So it's like it feels like you're only playing half a
Second
character.
variation.
Exactly. We're like it's like why is this not just one move set for me to learn compared to like
Yeah.
because at least with like 11 you can change it where like hey I do more damage but I'm weaker, but with this like I don't really see the pro or con to changing your variation beyond like
I think it's for variety's sake.
exactly.
Did you really? But it's like it's only on the surface, right? So if you think about it, if you put all those moves into one character and just have like a big ass list, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having like arbitrary variations that forces people to play a certain way, people will find a way to play those um, variations anyway on their own
Mm-hmm.
without having to like separate all these because people have different play styles. They're like, oh, this move, I like that move, and this other guy will not like that move until he plays the same character. It's the same thing, but
Yep.
with extra steps, extra forced steps. Like why? Why? That's always been a thing in fighting game. People play, don't always play the same character the same way. Now they're just, oh, since they do that anyway, let's just force them to do it anyway. Like, why? Why? It's like charging money for something you're already doing, right? Oh wait, no. No, I guess that's about right. Maybe I don't know. But point being, variation stupid.
Yes.
Make them make a big move
Yep.
list, and we'll
um
be happy.
so one more thing I want to do before we move on from this is something I don't think gets brought up enough is people praise Fortnite, and they praise Smash Brother for all these crossovers and all this other stuff. And I honestly think Mortal Kombat is a really big name in that because they get so many different people, especially if you exclude it out to the Injustice games where they've had like Ninja Turtles, Hellboy, I think they had Spawn. But that's what I had to say. So,
Spawn was in 11th.
oh, okay, yes. So, for the guest characters for this game might actually be one of my favorites because I believe in 9 it was just Freddy. Like
Freddy.
Well, like you had you had Kratos on the PS3 and you had
right. I was about to say that. Like, yeah, we had Freddy, but I remember Kratos. Like, wait, no, but I'm pretty sure there was exclusives.
Yeah, exactly. You also had like, was it God, the Blood Girl? She comes back in 11.
Oh, Scarlet.
Scarlet, exactly. Like
Scarlet. That's not like crossover though. That's like extra DLC characters.
And even for for 11 you have RoboCop.
RoboCop, Terminator,
Rambo, and Joker,
Spawn, the Joker,
and
who else?
Technically, Shang Tsung, like from the movies, if you want to count.
Shang Tsung.
Yes, him.
I was about to say leave all the Asian pronunciation to me, but then I realized, I'm actually not that good. I'm only good because I've been here.
But 11 has
so long.
It has Jason Voorhees, Predator.
No, that's X.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me, for X. It has Jason Voorhees, Predator, Alien, Leatherface. Yeah. So like you already
all horror themed.
Yes. So
crossover.
That's the one thing, and I think we talked about this like years ago. Well, first off, I just want to know, like, I think me personally, I love that cast because, yeah, I think horror people work best for Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, you want that like that gore, right?
Yeah, because like Rambo kind of fits, but it's like, all right, I guess this is kind of tangential, but it feels a little weird.
I saw a comment somewhere, I think it was on YouTube, on a Mortal Kombat video, or like one of the crossover trailers, that MK11 was the Mortal Kombat game with your dad, sending in the names of all the characters you wanted in the game. So just all the 80s action movies.
Yeah, up next is Chuck Norris. But the one we discussed, I was gonna say that I'm shocked never happened in 11, and they teased it, and I'm really upset. Was of course Ash from the Evil Dead.
God damn it! Yeah, now I remember that. God damn it!
So
I love Evil Dead so much. I'm mad.
I feel, and it just makes sense because, like you said, it has the gory, it has the bloodiness.
And you know what?
But it has the
stupid thing was too. The most egregious thing when they first put out the teaser trailer for the crossover characters.
Yeah.
There's a freaking chainsaw sound in that video.
Exactly, and like, I feel like it would just be perfect. You can see Bruce Campbell making the goofy jokes and whatever, and like doing a fatality and like a big like, he fits perfectly. Unfortunately, we can't have nice things. So
nope.
What kind of horror? Seeing how technically this is the Halloween episode, even though this is November, but what kind of horror icons would you love to see in Mortal Kombat?
Would you?
Because I'm looking.
Man, I'm not too much of a horror guy, but if I have to pick one.
Well, because I'm looking. Wait.
Give me a list. You have a list.
Michael Myers.
Okay. Oh, Michael Myers would have been kind of cool, actually.
There is. I'm seeing Pennywise.
We'll get him out of here. We already have Joker.
Wait,
actually, you know what? Swap Joker out for Pennywise.
Yeah, I understand. Joker was always a weird thing for me because, like, I get it. He's the Joker. He can be more violent, but it was weird that him of all people were like. I think it would have been better if it was Darkseid or something. But that's just me personally. One that I think would be hilarious is Chucky. I would love to see and he's just got a tiny hitbox and nobody just punches over him.
You can only use the low hitting moves. So
Exactly. Just
everybody would have to crouch the entire game to fight him.
exact. What is it? You have oh jeez. There. Okay. Tumblr's keep
Ooh, oh,
loading.
Candyman.
Candyman would be good. Was it? This says Blade, Leprechaun. Leprechaun would be a great one.
Ooh, I would have loved Blade. Although he's not technically a horror icon, he's
Yeah,
more
it's
action.
exactly.
He would have been. We got Spawn. We could have
Nemesis.
Blade.
Nemesis would be a good one. Pyramid Head.
Oh, the
Yep.
Resident Evil Nemesis.
Yep.
Oh, that dude. Okay. I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Although I
Candyman.
think
Scream. I'm shocked Scream has never been in it.
Scream. Oh, Ghostface.
Yeah.
Ghostface. No. I think out of all of those,
Who else have we got? Hannibal Lecter. That'd be all right.
What the hell can he do? He's old.
He just eats people.
Nobody have Melina for that.
Who I'm just trying to see. Yeah, you have Bruce Campbell.
Let's go with Bruce Campbell. That's the only person we want.
Yeah, there's a lot of Dracula stuff. I don't know. They want the Bram Stoker. I don't think the big, butthead.
What?
Yeah, I don't think that would necessarily.
No, I don't think that would. No.
But yeah, I because it sucks that I have putting memory. Mortal Kombat 11 was what they just finished DLC in 2019.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, because
I think it was Spawn. Spawn was the last DLC character.
Well, that's
was
what I
it?
mean. Yeah, I believe so.
Wait, no. I think it was actually Rambo, maybe.
Yeah. So either way, we're a while away from the next Mortal or any. Excuse me. The next
Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, because
Well, funny you said that. There's rumors flying around that the next NetherRealm title is Mortal Kombat 12.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Because it's kind of part of the conversation. Typically, they've done MK Injustice. So
Yeah.
Injustice would be next, but how would you feel about them kind of skipping that and going to
Mortal Kombat 12?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I have to do a spoiler on this one.
Yeah.
Because there's no.
Yeah.
We can't talk about Mortal Kombat 12 without spoiler. Literally, we cannot talk about it. So, spoiler alert here.
Yeah.
Is have you played or watched the Aftermath expansion for 11?
I have not, but it's been long enough, so just spoil it for me.
So, basically, at the end of that, Liu Kang. Well, Shang Tsung pretty much tried some shit, right?
Yeah.
And Liu Kang became the new god of time or whatever, right? That's in Mortal Kombat 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shang Tsung showed up, and this is the aftermath story. Shang Tsung shows up, and tried to start some shit.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, Liu Kang beat Shang Tsung and went back in time. And then we see the Great Kung Lao. He went back to see the Great Kung Lao. And the Great Kung Lao is... Hold on. is one of the big MK character. Lore-wise, we never seen him in the game. We only see, in murals and whatever.
Yeah.
He's the one that defeated Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat tournament before the one in the first game.
Yeah.
And that made pretty much the bad guy really mad because he won that tournament that would have
sealed the earth.
Yeah. That saved the earth, yes, basically. And then he's like Kung Lao's ancestor or something like that.
Yep.
And then but he lost to Prince Goro, the four-armed dude, in
Okay.
the next tournament, and that allowed the tournament to keep going. And then we get to the first tournament of the first, not the first tournament, the tournament in the first game, which is I think might have been like the last tournament again before, you know, the bad guy can invade. That the rules stupid, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Point being, because he lost, we had to like do all this again. And Liu Kang went back to Great Kung Lao to like train him up so that he could be Goro, I think. So we're in like the past era of MK, and that's really cool. So
Okay.
we're not gonna have Johnny Cage. We're not gonna have so we're gonna have like a whole
So,
new cast of that era.
so you're telling me this is the fourth reboot of this game?
I don't. You know what? It actually could be. No, but even if it's a reboot, though, it's a reboot that we've never seen before in an era we never really seen.
Yeah.
Or actually, we have seen
Well, I was gonna say because
that era in
I
the TV show for
yeah yeah but
called Mortal Kombat Conquest.
oh okay yeah it's the live action
You heard the name? Yeah, the
yes.
live action.
Well, that's the
That
thing is you know we've always talked spoilers. I think these games are definitely a good entry point, like because like I said before, it was just like cool people on an island are fighting, but like this was like the first. This series has definitely made me go like, oh, okay, I actually want to learn about these characters, about like Kung Lao and all this other stuff, and like,
all the lore, the cool lore. There's like
yeah,
the Assassin Clan with the ice dude.
exactly, and
There's
like,
another Assassin Clan with the fire dude, but he's Japanese, so that he's automatically cooler.
but, but yeah, so no, but as we wrap it up, I like, I think you know, again, I think I like 9 and 11 for different reasons, but I do think 11 is kind of like an important part where like I would never tell anyone. And I just skip 10. 10's like not important. Like I do enjoy 10. It's just the
You have to play 10 to get
exactly,
to 11.
exactly,
Pretty much, you can't just jump into 11.
yes,
I like the new story. It's just the cast
yes,
isn't as strong. They're cool, like the new cast. Yeah, we didn't touch on this,
yeah.
but the uh Scorpion's new student, what's his name? The whip guy, the robot,
Oh yes,
the cyber looking whip guy. What's his name?
um, Kenshi?
No,
No,
actually, Kenshi is his dad. So this dude
uh,
is his son. Kenshi is the blind swordsman. This is Takeda.
Takeda,
There we go.
Takeda.
Takeda.
Oh,
Takeda. No, not Kano. Takeda. He uses like he's basically like Scorpion. I think he's in the same clan. Scorpion's training him, but instead of like the supernatural spear, he has like a cybernetic spear, and his move are so goddamn cool in the game.
mm,
And that's one thing that I'm gonna just briefly touch on is that the combo in MKX is so much better in MK11. There's so many options. A lot of these combos, I taught you about this a little bit, where like
yes,
somebody is floating, like when you do a move and they end up floating in the air. When the move finishes, you can keep punching them,
exactly,
and that's a combo, right?
exactly. Just to keep chaining it, just like small
Yeah,
hits
keep
like that.
chaining it. So yeah, do one combo, they end up in the air. Do another combo. So you're stringing two combos together and do like the longer combo, right?
Yeah,
In MKX, there's a lot of that, especially on this guy. Like a lot of moves make people float, and it gives you so much option. And a lot of moves do that. So like I was like figuring out combos. It's not optimal. It's not the best combo, but like it's the ones I figure out instead. In 11, they kind of narrowed everything down into this is how you combo. Just do this. It connects to that. It connects to that, and that's the combo. There's really no like do this and then this or that. It's do this and then that. It's just less options. I mean, the moves are kind of boring in 11. It's just too grounded.
Yes.
The the moves in X are more explosive, more fun, and that's one thing that's missing from 11. I think even though 11's a more balanced game, I, I hear MKX broken as shit, but in the best way possible. That's what I hear.
But yeah, so I guess now we'll have to see what happens with Mortal Kombat or Injustice or whatever NetherRealm. There was
Ooh,
that.
ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was.
were you about to get to the Marvel
Well,
rumor?
yes. Well, that. Well, so
Yeah, go ahead.
it's been kind of. I've seen a lot of rumors tied in together because apparently what he just said something like we're doing a crossover and you guys will not believe who it is or something to that effect.
No, I don't know if about him saying that because I didn't hear that, but I heard the Marvel
Well, yeah.
rumor that they're gonna make the Marvel fighting game.
Well,
Oh,
yes.
oh,
Here, give me half a second.
come on,
Well, the
come
other
on.
thing, because he said we're doing a crossover, and then excuse me. Recently, there's been the news that Warner Brothers is doing its own Smash Brothers. so, so there was a rumor for a while that that NetherRealm was doing this game, and I'm like, that would never happen. I
What?
I
How
think
is that even gonna look like? Like Smash Brothers, like all the NetherRealm
no, this was
titles,
no, it was well again, it's because people are combining um, combining rumors.
rumors.
Yes, so
Yeah.
there's the rumors that there's going to be this Warner Brother game, and then Ed Boon said they're going to do a crossover game, and then people kind of just combine the two. Because all Ed has said is that he's doing a crossover, or I'm
La la
scroll,
la la la.
I'm scrolling through his Twitter as I try to find it.
Looking at images.
um, do, 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 do,
Because I don't read the headlines.
I,
Me, not you. You should read the headlines.
is,
Or maybe you
uh,
do read the headlines.
well, that's why I have to cross. Oh, there we go. Ed Boon crossover clue. Let's see if Google.
Cross over clue.
Nope, that's
Why clue?
no. This is
Why did you have to put clues in there?
that was Google tweet. I'm trying to professional 2020.
2021.
Okay, I don't think I can find it. The point is, who you know, I honestly,
No, the point.
as much as it would see, um, as much as it would suck to see if, if
It's gonna be true.
well, no, if it's a lie, I would love to see them to do, yeah, because look, I'm looking at it right now. His Twitter profile is like half Scorpion, half Batman. So
Wait, so
yeah,
it's gonna be Mortal Kombat versus
DC
DC.
too.
Yeah, I was gonna say because there was there's already one back on the PS3, and that one was wacky as hell.
Well, that's technically 8, which I find crazy.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
So that one was right before 9.
exactly. Um, but
Ah,
yeah, but so we'll see what they do. But for now, we're gonna move on to our next segment. But before we do that, we're gonna take a break from our sponsor. But of course, this is an independently funded show, and if you'd like
so
to
we
have
find our
your
own spot.
if you'd like to
We
have your
find our own
letter
sponsors.
read on air, or sorry, if you'd like to work with the show or had your letter read on air, you can write into the show over at PlayStationPlusShow@gmail.com. But for now, we're going to give this free shout out to Booster Juice because I'm feeling a little sick under the weather, and they just were able to shove a whole bunch of ginger into
Toasted
this.
cheese.
Yeah, it's a Canadian. I don't know if it's. Yeah, no, it says blended worldwide. Yeah, it's a Canadian like juice smoothie bar thing. And I went
Wait.
into the women.
Oh, wait.
Uh,
It's smoothie bar.
Yeah, like they just make smoothies and different, and I love it because
Wait. So there are smoothies or they snack bars?
no smoothies. Like it's like a
Oh.
that's all they do is smoothies and like little knickknacks.
Oh, you mean like
Like a juice
I'm
bar.
stupid. I'm stupid. Yeah,
No.
like a juice bar. No,
Yeah.
I went literally like when you said bar, I thought of like breakfast bar and not like bar like as an establishment.
But no,
It's like, wait, hold on.
I, I,
I kind of want a smoothie breakfast bar.
I went up to the woman today and I was like, because I was looking at the menu and I'm just like, I'm a little under the weather. That's why I'm kind of like nasally and I'm kind of sniffing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, hey, do you have anything with like lemon or whatever? And she's like, no. I'm like, all right. I'm like, how many like, like little shots can I put? She's like, why? I'm like, give me all the shots of ginger. Give me 7 shots. I need to get better in the next hour and a half. I got a show to do, so let's just go. So, but yeah, honestly, like,
And here you are.
yes, here. Thanks to the power of booster juice.
Booster juice and with like however many shots of ginger that you that you put in for you.
But yeah, so yeah, we got a very nice round. 9 news stories. I haven't had time to sort them, so there's going to be no flow to this one. So I'm just
We're gonna make the flow.
the rhythm and the flow. Um, so I'm just going to start with
The funky flow.
one of her shorter stories, and this comes to us from the PlayStation blog by Grace O'Leary, or Lady, and it's that God of War 2018 is coming to PC.
Nice.
And that's as of August 21st, 2021, 19.5 million copies of God of War have been sold on the PS4. Yada yada yada.
Nice.
True 4K resolution, unlocked frame rates, yada yada yada. It's coming to PC. You get exclusive skins, all this other cool stuff.
Skins.
Yeah, you get
Were there skins in God of War?
You get the Death
I know they're like
Vow
armors and stuff.
Exile Guardian Shield, Buckler of the Forge Shield, Shining Elven Soul Shield, and Broken Shield.
Broken Shield.
So yes, so the one thing I will say is, because this has been happening a lot recently. So the first question I always post is, what is your whole thoughts on the fact that PlayStation is putting like pretty much all their games on PC at this point?
That's the thing though, right? Because eventually consoles gonna like evolve and now, consoles they're gonna like do the because we're talking about the eventuality of like Sub-Zero and Scorpion like join forces. Like all the games eventually, not games, the platforms eventually is gonna come together, and that's gonna be under PC eventually or something.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it might not, but the PC is like the middle ground between all of it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And even like Microsoft, they've been doing it even before PlayStation. They've been putting their
Game
exclusive
Pass and all that other stuff.
All that on PC already. And even back then, right, they had like Gears of War on PC like way back.
Yep.
So it's really nothing new.
Well, that's
people see this as like a bad thing.
Exactly.
But it's not really because like it's on PC, but a lot of people don't have the PC to play any of this on, so they just stuck on the other console.
Well, the one thing I find interesting is a lot of people, like you said, have been kind of been doom and gloom, or like, oh, PlayStation's dead. They're putting their stuff on PC. Consoles aren't selling, and like they said, God of War has sold 20 million copies. That's a really big number.
And PS5 freaking killing it right now.
But the thing with a lot of these games are 4-5 years old. So, like, I just view it as Sony doing this as, like, hey, we know these games are proven money makers. People love these games.
They'll make more money.
Exactly. They'll buy it again if we put it on PC and we up the frame rate.
Hell yeah.
So,
like, I would do that personally. I would do that. I would get it on PlayStation, right? And then if I have a dope PC some years later, like, I want to play this game again, but I want it to look good when I play it.
Well, yeah, and
I play it on my good PC.
That is my follow-up question is, like I said, I think most of them, like, what is it, Horizon's on there.
Horizon's on there.
Ghost of Tsushima's on there.
I think Detroit.
Yeah,
Detroit Become
Detroit,
Humans on there.
Death Stranding. So
Oh yeah, that's kind
what PlayStation game would you love to see on PC in all
of
its like
beyond there.
4K glory?
Oh, in all its glory. Are Uncharted games on there?
I think they just announced that like four and then four and Lost Legacy are coming, but not one and one, two, three.
Well, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 holds up okay, but I would love to like see like max setting Uncharted 4 on there
Oh yeah,
like that. Oh yeah, and like maybe like output it to like a big monitor. That's gonna be so good.
yeah.
So that's my one. I don't.
I,
Hmm,
I
yeah,
I think
I don't.
for a PC
Yeah, go ahead. Go
player,
ahead.
for the PC player, I think Returnal would be a cool grab. I think PC players
Oh
would
yeah.
just devour that game. I'm not the biggest roguelike person. So if I had to pick one, I want to see Ratchet and Clank like 8K,
Oh, I forgot about
like
that one.
rift apart, just like full
Yeah,
specs. That game would probably be insane to watch.
it already looks really good on
Ex-
PS5 because of like all the art style and stuff, right?
yeah, exactly, and the ray tracing and all that. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. But like it already looks good. I want to see it go just like even beyond that. I just want to see it go insane
it,
level.
it already looks good, but I want it to look good,
um,
really good.
yeah. So again, there's not much more to say about that. The one for me is like I said, that I always end this with is I'm gonna be very curious to see when they start doing day and date because right now it's always like four
Yeah,
five
that
years like even was it Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima that was like a year and a half old like they weren't necessarily new titles like so I'm
yeah.
curious to see what's gonna be the first one that comes out like day and date
And
as
then they,
exactly
personally, I don't think that's ever gonna be a thing. I think that's because that's how they
yeah
kind of that keep the consoles alive, right?
exactly
In a way, because if it comes out day and date on PC, is like it cannibalizes the console sales.
yep
So they're like, I don't think it will ever become a thing. I think Microsoft does it right day and date
yeah
on there. Yeah, but not for PlayStation, because
yeah same with like
it would be it would be kind of stupid to like, they don't really have they don't really own the platform, so to speak, like Microsoft, so they don't really get anything out of it.
yeah
They get less if anything, so I don't think that's ever gonna be a thing.
yeah because I think nobody uses it but there is technically the Microsoft Store but I don't like I think
Yeah.
PlayStation sells most of their stuff through Steam I believe.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's true.
But yeah, so let's move on to another quick bit. And speaking on that realm, I just wanted to hear your very brief thoughts on. I don't know if you saw the Uncharted trailer, but that came out
Oh, the
a few
movie, right?
weeks ago. So we're not gonna do like a breakdown of the trailer and all that. But I just want to know your brief.
I did see that. I did see that.
Yes, what are your quick thoughts? It's coming out February 18th, 2022. So it's pretty soon.
Pretty close. Pretty
Yes.
close. Yeah.
It
My
stars
thought on it.
Tom Holland as Nathan Drake and
Yep.
Mark Wahlberg as Sully. Uh,
Yep.
and those are the positive things I can say about it. I
Yeah, they. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
and I was gonna say the thing I always told
Oh,
people is like viewing it just as like a movie trailer. I'm like, cool. It looks like a fun, generic, heist movie or
action
action
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like in terms of the movie, I have no issues with that. It's just it doesn't really look or vibe with what I like Uncharted to be.
Yeah. What do you know Uncharted to be?
Um,
Oh.
well, the thing I know this is probably gonna be a weird take. I actually think it's a lot more Drake and Elena than it is Drake and Sully. Like Sully's always kind of in the background doing his own thing, but like,
Oh, like in the
yes,
game?
yeah, Sully's never really in the game that much. He'll do a mission with you, and then he'll hop out and just go away. But Elena's with you a lot more consistently. So the fact that they're kind of focusing on the evolution of Drake and Sully and all that other stuff, I do think you're kind of losing a key part of why I personally enjoy Uncharted so much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Hmm.
I can see that take. But my counter take, this is going to be on the video game, not the movie. I'll get to that. But I, well, it tie into that because the Sally thing, Sally,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, whatever. But Sally is like the kind of like the lore
Yes.
of Uncharted, right? So
Yes.
if they're gonna make a movie about it, it has to be
About
Drake
Sully.
and Sally first. It has to be with
Sadly.
them first before anything. You have to set up like the lore before you get to like the main uh thing about Drake finding Elena and like living his life or whatever. You have to have a new hope before you get
Yes.
to Empire.
Well, yeah, that's always the interesting thing is, because what is it? I believe even Tomb Raider did this when they with their it's like the last shot with her holding the dual pistols is the end of the movie, and I understand for like a general audience you have to introduce them to these world to these characters for this stuff, but like for me it always just makes me go like, cool, I can skip this one, I'll watch the sequel, and then the sequel never gets made.
Yeah, you never know. Or is that confirmed?
No, right now it's just
Just up in the air.
yeah, exactly.
All
But
right.
no, yeah,
Well,
again, not much to say. We'll see what happens with
oh,
the
but
Uncharted.
my thought on the movie though,
Yep, go for it.
because I haven't given it,
Yep,
and I have a bit of a take.
go for it.
Uh, it seems to be doing like recap, not recap. Yeah, recapping a
Three.
few big scenes from like the video game. You have the plane scene that's from Uncharted 3,
Yeah, this game
right? And
takes a
then
lot from three.
yeah, oh yeah, and then like have the
Yeah, the
suits and
origin.
tie, yeah, from
Yeah,
like the opening. And so this is taking a lot from 3. So they're like
mashing all of it
meshing a
together.
lot of like these different set pieces
What was it?
into
I think
a prequel.
yeah, the older woman that knows Sully is like said to be Chloe. Um,
The older woman.
like there's just a woman in the
Oh
trailer.
yeah, there's the woman. Yeah, that's clearly Chloe with like
Yeah, but
the darker skin, black hair. Yeah, that's
that
definitely
means she's
Chloe.
much older than Drake,
Drake.
and then like Drake talks about his brother Sam, and like Sam left his
Oh yeah,
kiss for
yeah,
him.
right,
So
right,
like
right. I forgot about that.
they seem to be like kind of taking a little bit of everything, and that's the weird thing for me is like because was it with my previous guest Benjamin Weeks. I don't need it to follow the
Yeah.
plot like 100%. I don't need it to just be like, hey, make three and then put it on screen. I'm fine them making these adjustments. It's just for me personally, I feel like they're adjusting too much and they're not keeping about what I like about this series.
Mm,
Mhm.
nah.
But again, we'll have to wait.
I
Yep.
I think it's fine for what they're going for it because they need to get the big set pieces, right? And those are like in the newer games.
Yes.
So I understand they're doing the plane scene and whatnot.
Yep.
But the thing is, the weird thing that I had was, but they could like do this in the future or whatever, or maybe like yeah, they would grow into it. But I went and saw the Uncharted short film on YouTube. Do you know this one with Nathan
The
Fillion?
That's what I was about to say. That ever
Yeah,
since I've seen
and
that,
I
I'm
saw
just
a
like,
little bit of it. I never seen it, but I saw a little bit of it right after the trailer. And I was like, no, no, this is Uncharted right here. Nathan
exactly.
Fillion is like Nathan Drake. He even has the name.
Yeah.
He got half of it. He's already half Nathan Drake, just simply having the name, and he kind of has that look and his delivery and all that. This is
Yeah,
like the character.
and I think the worst part was like he funded that himself. Like he put up the money, he shot it, he did all that other stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and PlayStation was just like, nah, we're gonna go with Tom Holland, like who I love, and it's great, but it's just he's a little too baby faced for this. I would have preferred a more kind of mature, older Drake.
A little gruffer Drake.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think this is like the prequel, so I understand that. But yeah, I wanted that like that.
the
that
charisma that
Nathan
Nathan
Fillion,
Fillion,
yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah,
charisma, yeah.
because
Maybe Tom Holland will grow into it,
yeah,
but I don't think he's going to be like
cracking jokes all the
the
time.
the cracking joke. I just don't see it. Even maybe like in the future, he's just like you said, he has that like baby face uh that like kind of insecure, kind of unsure, kind
Exactly.
of style, like delivery and look. But he might surprise us with like
Yeah,
if it gets a sequel or maybe like towards the end he becomes Nathan Drake. But dude, Nathan Fillion, I haven't finished watching that
yeah,
by the way, the short film, but I want to go back to it.
it's
But,
very good. I
but
can't.
everything, yeah, that moment where like the guy that they brought out to like beat the shit out of him, El Tigre,
Yeah,
and he said like, and then he said like, oh, a lot of money would, a lot of people would pay a lot of money to be alone with you right now, Nathan Drake. And it has to be like intimidating when it sounded so freaking weird, and then Nathan Fillion just go, oh, awkward. It was so funny. Like I want that Nathan Drake. Nathan Drake's always been that. Even like the young Drake in like Uncharted 3.
yeah.
He was already kind of doing all like this cocky thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the one thing I understand from an audience perspective, but that's what I never understand about the Hollywood thing is like, oh, hey, here's this awesome, cool character, but you're not going to get them till the end of the movie. Like, we're going to see who that person is. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
I don't want to see that person. I want to see the person who's grown and been the cool,
Yeah.
mature, cocky character.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And we like I said, we have the young Drake in
3. Yeah.
Uncharted 3.
Yep.
Yeah,
Drake
and he was
Deception.
already cocky, and he's probably younger than like Tom Holland is. Really, Tom Holland looks like older. I don't know like what
Yeah. Yeah. But
age they're gonna have him be
yeah.
like narratively, but he already looks older than like that Drake.
Mhm.
He has to be older. He's like going off on like
I think he's a
planes
bartender.
and shit.
Well, he's a bartender, so he's got to be at least
He's about
older
yeah,
than
he's maybe
21.
like 18
Yeah, exactly.
or 21 maybe. Yeah, I don't know what's
Depending on
the
what
age
state
limit
you
on
live
this.
in.
Yeah,
Um,
like so. I don't know. It looks fine, but
yep. Yep. I don't.
I'm probably gonna watch it still. But yeah, we'll see.
The one last thing I'll say is it's not about Uncharted directly. I don't know if you saw the trailer for Resident Evil,
Which one?
the new one. Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh, welcome to. I haven't seen that one yet. I know,
Well,
I know it.
well,
I
the
haven't seen
interesting
that.
thing is that the U.S. got a trailer, and they literally play the He-Man song, like
Oh, I need
you
a
know the
hero.
no the like the hi like
Oh, that's one.
yeah. So they play that, and I'm like, this movie does not look good. And then for some reason,
Why?
Sony Latin America posted a different trailer that was still in English, and it uses different music and different shots, and like it's a much better trailer. So ever since then, I've been like, maybe that's a bad trailer. I'm gonna give Uncharted the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this is just a bad trailer. But
Yeah, it could be that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to wait and see. Um,
Honestly, it doesn't look like
it's not
that
awful.
bad at all.
No,
It looks decent. I think it's gonna be decent at the very least. It could may very well surprise me, and I want it to because I freaking love Uncharted.
uh,
But yeah,
yeah, but
for now it's like, uh,
yeah. So to move on to another quick fire, this one also comes to the PlayStation blog, and it's just that Apple Music launches on PS5. So it's saying how you can use Apple Music before hopping into a game or during gameplay by pressing the PlayStation button on the DualSense. You can stream music while you play. Blah 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 blah. Nothing too crazy. Nothing fantastic.
yep.
The one thing I would say to you is, I know PlayStation does have Spotify.
It does.
That's what I say. Do you like use any of those music stuff while you're actually gaming?
While I'm gaming,
Yes.
I used to do that years ago. I don't remember what game I was playing. Did wait, no, I think it might have been Stardew Valley,
Yep.
and I would just turn off the in-game music
Yep.
and put on like a very chill playlist play Stardew Valley with,
Well,
and that's like really really cool. And a lot of people even do it pretty much all the time.
yeah. I yeah. Again,
I
this.
know a friend of mine.
Mhm.
I'm sorry to cut
No,
you
no,
off.
no, no. You
Yeah,
go. You go.
yeah. You know Ryan Robinson, right?
Yes.
The guy that I played
Yes. Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat with.
Yeah, the
He said
podcast
he,
Beyond Fighting Game champ.
yeah, podcast. Yes, yes, that guy. He didn't. Oh no, he does not like Guilty Gear Strive music, and he just turned it off. He just have it off the whole time and put on his own playlist. So it has been used as when you just don't like the music of that particular game. You know what? I
Yep.
got better music. I'm gonna put on a Guy's theme from Street Fighter. Bim, ba-dim, ba-dim, bim, bim, ba-dim, ba-dim. You know it, right?
Yeah,
Ba-dim,
exactly.
ba-dim, bim, 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 bim. I hope that just did not get you like demonetized.
No, I
You can edit
believe we
this
should
out.
be fine. But yeah, no. Again,
We're unknown. We're like small enough.
yeah, it's just a quick thing. This is one of those things. I don't know if I would ever use this personally. Like, if I'm ever doing something grindy, usually I'll just put on.
Oh, like put on music.
That's
You
what I'm
know,
saying.
not put on music, but using like the music app on your
Exactly.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
You mean?
Typically,
Alright.
like if I have to do something grindy, I'll just put YouTube on my phone or something. I don't think I would
Yeah.
ever do it off the PlayStation. But hey, just a cool little update for those who want
And that
it.
people, if yeah, some people will use it.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
well, that's gonna say the only weird thing for me is I don't know Apple Music library, so I don't know
Yeah,
how good it
yeah,
is
I don't know.
compared to
Spotify.
yeah, exactly.
I
Uh,
hear like there are like suggestions and whatnot, like aren't as good as Spotify. Like everybody I talk to that uses like other apps and Spotify, they usually say like, yeah, Spotify has like better curated stuff for you, like suggestions. I
uh,
don't know how true that is. That's just what I heard.
the next story comes to us from thegamer.com, and it's that PlayStation's Play at Home program this year saw players redeem 60 million games. During the height of the pandemic, PlayStation offered
No,
up a selection of free games to download as part of a play-at-home program to tempt people to stay indoors. High titles such as Horizon Zero Dawn and Ratchet and Clank were offered, as well as a bunch of indies without the need for a PlayStation Plus subscription. It's now been revealed that a whopping 60 million games were downloaded. According to Jim Ryan, he's proud that the company was able to offer the games to people during such a difficult period, and as PlayStation is happy with the results.
no.
When asked
I'm
if
so glad that you explained what play at home is because I totally forgot what it was and I didn't want to ask.
When asked whether the Play at Home program would return for a third time, Ryan explains that we'll have to see how the world evolves, and that hints that Play at Home could make a return if another lockdown was to occur. We might get free games, but the thought of another lockdown is just enough to send a shiver up anyone's spine.
I can go on without a few free games if we don't get another quarantine. Thank you.
Exactly. Because let me fail time. You guys was I know Subnautica was one of the games at yeah, because yeah, again, they did this 2020. Like that's when the pandemic was really bad, and I thought that was really cool. So like they didn't even have to do it again this year.
Yeah.
So the fact that they did it again is amazing. Yeah, what is it? You got oh god, you got Res.
Subnautica, you said?
Yeah, you got Subnautica, Enter the Gungeon, The Witness, Abzu, Moss, Astrobot, Paper Beast, Thumper, and then of course Ratchet and Clank and Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. So like I think that's you know again
That's a good roster.
yeah. So like I'm glad to see people took advantage of it, and like the hope would be that obviously people are gonna download Ratchet and Clank and
And Horizon.
yeah, because those are big PlayStation. But like, the hope would be that people play Subnautica, they play Enter the Gungeon, and they
Yeah.
get to experience new games. And that's again,
Yep.
I know people like to pick on Plus every now and again because it's usually like a big AAA title and then two smaller indie ones. But honestly, that's kind of what I enjoy about the show. Is like I think, obviously it's free, so it's a lot easier to make that leap. But I think it's definitely a lot more cool to try stuff you might not have before and like kind of just experience things different games
Just
that
trying
you
something new.
exactly that you might have not ever considered buying for yourself. So again, just a quickie, but like they said, I would hope we don't do it. I think like because PlayStation always does these things of like, oh, if you get Plus, you get like 3 months of Funimation. So I could see them doing something like
Wait,
that. Hmm?
that was a thing.
Well, only for new Funimation subscribers. That's how that's
Okay.
how they always get you because I'm always like I want this deal and it's like no, if you sign up for Funimation you get 3 months free with Plus. Um, but that's what I'm saying. So
Uh,
I don't see them offering games for 2022, but I could see they get like, hey, here's this discount or here's this like summer sale as at part of Play at Home.
I can see that. Yeah,
Yep.
that's fair.
And our next news story uh, comes to us from Game Rant. I don't think if that one the last one, but it's that Grand Theft Auto 3 Definitive Edition arrives on PlayStation Now in December. Uh, So yeah, this is kind of
That's the one where like they updated the
yes,
the, the graphics and whatnot, right? And people were really mad about.
yeah, well, yeah. So well, we could get into that, but yeah. So the Grand Theft Auto trilogy will be released digitally on November 11th, with many graphical updates to the games. It will also release physically on December 7th. As now, there's no way to purchase these games individually, but interestingly enough, Grand Theft Auto 3 will be made available to users of PlayStation Now. And I'm trying to see. Yes. Okay, they also go into yeah. So in December, now players are going to get Grand Theft Auto 3 for free, but also on Game
Huh.
Pass in November, they're getting San Andreas on Game Pass for free.
Uh,
So first off, yes, let's start with the elephant in your room. What what are your thoughts on this new Grand Theft Auto remaster? Because I know people have been like very all over the place with it.
I I I don't know why they're mad about it
I
personally because like
well
I, I'm
I can tell you
I'm
why
not
because
too
I
big
was one
to.
of
Oh,
those
okay, go
people.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
well,
And you're one of those people. Okay, I
well
want to
I
hear.
I've definitely calmed down since the initial trailer.
Nah,
Um, and because they've done a lot of scuzzy thing into release because they released
classy thing.
well they released 3 San Andreas Vice City as like PS2 on PS4 because they
Oh,
remastered,
right, they did. Yeah.
but they took those versions down and you could buy those games individually for 20, and then Rockstar took those versions down, and now the only way to play these games is to pay the $60
Wait,
for the whole collection.
hold up. So if they took down those games, you can still play it if you like
Yes,
bought it
yes,
already, right? Okay.
exactly. They just
You
removed
just
the
other
option to
people
buy
just
it.
can't buy it anymore.
Exactly. Which
Ah,
which is like it's kind of scummy, but I understand that's business. Judging the game at itself, I have seen a lot of better remasters. Like look if you look at the Crash remaster or the Spyro remaster or Medieval or Resident Evil 2, there are far better games. Um, Me personally, I don't like the character models for this Grand Theft Auto.
actually, yeah, I've seen a few pictures of them. Like they look kind of. I'll have to like look at the trailer
What
for
I
myself because I haven't seen it. But the screenshots I
wait,
saw was like this is kind of weird.
yeah,
But I have to see like everything first before
yeah,
I can say anything.
because the lighting, like the lighting and the weather and all the other stuff, that's really good. But like, they still have the midden hands or like the Lego hands where like it's like a circle. Like they don't have actual fingers. So just seeing like people point at you with like a
Blanco hand,
yeah, just seeing people like point with like the crab
the
claw.
whole hand.
Yeah, exactly. It's very weird, and I'm just like, I don't know why you couldn't do this. Um, since the initial trailer, I've read up on it a bit more. They're definitely putting in the effort. Like they said that the games are going to play closer to GTA 5. There's going to be a cover system. There's going to be like the weapon reel. Like they're changing the way the shooting works.
They're
So
modernizing it
exactly. So
too, right?
it's
on top of like graphical
exactly.
changes.
Yeah, so it's not a simple case of like, hey, the games are in 4K now. Like they are putting in the work to make each game unique. Like they're even special. Like you can use motion control on the Switch version and whatnot. Um,
Well, wait, for what, like driving
yep.
and flying? No, flying would make sense.
Well, yeah, you can turn them off if you want, but yes. So like, yes, I've come down. I still think it's an ugly looking game, but I do see that they are putting time into effort into it. So I've kind of gone like, all right, this is not what I wanted from this, but like I'm still happy and I'm still excited for this game to come out. The question I'm going to pose to you is like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about them offering basically San Andreas on Game Pass and 3 on now,
Wait, now like
like
PS
PlayStation?
Now?
Yes, yes. So you get you know Grand Theft Auto 3 for free with now, which I know a lot of people are
What?
upset because you can't buy these games individually. You have to buy them as part of a pack. But I think this is like
Yeah.
really good promotion because it's like, if you like 3 or San Andreas, chances are you're gonna like the other two. So you're like, hey, I beat this
Hmm.
one. Let me, buy the full pack now and let me buy the other two.
I think anything that like bundles things together is okay as long as you can buy stuff individually.
Yeah.
But the way they went about it is like, hey, in order to get this game alone, you have to do this. And in order to get this one, you have to do that. And it's on like two different freaking systems. Like PlayStation only has what? What was on now? San Andreas
No,
or
3.
three?
Yes.
Three. Yeah.
Yes.
So PlayStation, yeah, sign up with now. You on PlayStation get
3.
GTA 3,
Yeah.
and then if you're on Xbox, you only get San Andreas with Game Pass. Like, okay, cool. What about the other two games?
No, well,
You're gonna have to buy the whole pack. Like,
well,
okay,
it,
but I only have one game for
what's it,
free if I have a pass, so I'm just
it's interesting that
paying.
neither get Vice City. Vice City, like, no, you gotta pay for because I know people
Yeah,
love
what
Vice
the
City.
heck? It's such a weird way to like go around. Like,
Yeah.
just make it available, and then you wouldn't have all these like freaking
Issues.
problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the main thing for me is like if they had said like, hey, you can buy them individually for this price, or you could get it cheaper as a bundle, I'd be all for that. But right now they really haven't said much. They haven't communicated much, so it's kind of just like left to the wayside.
It just boggles the mind how like these companies do business sometimes. Like they just kind of give the obvious, non-problematic option just to go like, you know what? We're gonna create some dramas.
I I
Okay.
I love Rockstar, but one of my biggest issues is that they're not very good about communicating. They often just do whatever. Like they'll come do a
Mm.
trailer, drop it, and then leave. And it's like, okay, sometimes you do have to answer questions. Sometimes you have to follow up with people. You can't just, you know, make your news and then leave. Like sometimes you do have to explain, and especially like a remaster like this where they're changing so much. There is a lot of questions we still do have, and it sucks that they're just like, all right, cool, we'll see you at launch. But yeah, either way,
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's
either way,
weird.
hey, the fact that people can quote unquote try these games for free, I still think that's dope, even if you have Game Pass or PS Now.
It's better than nothing, right?
Exactly. And speaking of PS Now, this also comes to us from the PlayStation blog, and this is just a quick rundown of the games coming to PlayStation Now in October 2021. The big headliner for this month is The Last of Us Part 2. Um,
Or,
well,
okay.
actually, I guess 2 technically is The Last of Us Part 2. And also, Fallout 76 is coming to PlayStation Now, which I find bananas.
It's just so weird hearing like current titles going on now because in my head now is still like the one
Yeah.
service that like if you want to like backtrack to like older stuff,
Yeah, well,
get PS Now. And
exactly.
now we have
It's
like all these like modern titles in there. Like,
So aside
all right,
from The Last of Us and Fallout, they're also adding Amnesia Collection, Desperado 3, Final Fantasy VII Remastered, Victor Vron Overkill Edition, and yet another Zombie Defense HD. So like it's not an insane month. Like Game Pass is still much a better deal. I just think it's crazy that Fallout 76, which is a Microsoft owned, franchise now, is on the PlayStation streaming service.
Right, that's a good point. Although it,
Well, yeah,
I
it's
don't think they can do anything about that because it's already been on
exactly.
PlayStation. But further, not further, like future
Yes, exactly.
Bethesda game is gonna be
Yeah,
only on Microsoft and PC.
exactly. So it's like you said. I think now it's just that thing that's like slowly chipping away in the background. Where, I think like because I know God of War's on now. I know Uncharted's on now. I know Bloodborne is on now. So like PlayStation is slow. The problem is like Microsoft just went guns blazing. Like here, everything is on Game Pass. Like every game, every new game, every old game, everything is on Game Pass. And in PlayStation, it's just
Because
like
Game Pass just makes sense.
we,
PS now, you have to stream this stuff, and it's not the same as having the game.
exactly because it's because well no because you can download PS4 games, but PS3 you have to stream. But there's
Yeah,
certain PS4 games you can also stream, and yeah, like you said, that's the biggest problem. Is like I can recommend Plus to anyone. Like Plus is just which we'll get into later. Like I don't understand someone who won't have like Xbox Live or Switch Online. To me, these services are just like instant deals. Like, hey, they give you free games and they give you online. Like, it's a simple, easy sell. Something like PlayStation Now, I'm like, well, if you have the internet and you're into these
yeah,
kind of game, like it's a lot tougher of a sell.
yeah.
Now that will do it for that story, and then we're gonna quickly do another. I can't believe every single episode this year. I thought we were done, and we've come back. This is another round of the Cyberpunk corner.
Oh boy.
This is just a quick, brief one. It's nothing major. It's just that Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher Next Gen editions have been delayed to 2022, saying that they'll release Q1, January to March, with The Witcher 3 following in Q2, April to June for 2022. And they just said, like, hey, we've been so busy working on Cyberpunk and patching that, we haven't had time to work on
Yeah,
the other games.
of
So,
course. Oh man, the other game's gonna have to wait a while.
yeah. So, just a quickie, just a small one, but I just find it fun. I've literally said, like, please let it be the last story. We are in November now. I get, like, if
When did this start? When did this section start?
literally in February, and like every
Ah,
single
yeah.
month, there's been like some kind of cyberpunk news that we have our own little segment and like jingle for it now. But I just find it crazy. Cause was it? Did it not come out November of
It
2019 or no 20?
Cyberpunk?
No, yeah,
Something like that. It was last year. I
yeah.
don't remember exactly when.
Du- 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 du. Oh, jeez, I had it for a second and then it was gone. This is Cyberpunk singing song.
Cyberpunk, la la la, yeah
Sept-
yeah yeah.
September 2021. So we have gotten a whole year of talking about this game, and like it's still going, and it's still, I've heard things have improved, I've heard things are better, but like for now, I'm done talking about this game. Whenever they do the DLC or whatever expansion they
I
do,
forgot they had those. I forgot they had those plans. God,
well, yeah, because they
somebody
said
helpful.
something like it was going to come out. The original plan was it was going to come out March of this year,
And
and
wasn't
then
there like multiplayer that they wanted to implement?
yeah, I think they like canceled that. They're
Ah,
just like, yeah, that's not happening. Well, that was the whole point because people's complaint was like, you can make this character and this person, but the game is in first person, so you can't really see it. And they're like, well, yeah, but other people in multiplayer will be able to see you, and now that doesn't really exist
oh, they
anymore.
said that.
Yeah,
So
but
what? That's so freaking weird.
it's a whole thing. Point is, the games are delayed to next year. Sucks.
You know
Um,
what's funny
yeah.
about Cyberpunk? I actually bought that day one. and
Yeah.
I never played it. I never put the disc into my PS4.
uh,
It's in the box. I
uh,
just unwrapped it. It's just the box. It's just lying around here somewhere. I never played the damn game.
I have friends who have played it and said it's fine, but yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
not much more to say. We'll see if 2022 will be a better year for CD Projekt Red. Just like
I hope so, man.
just like 2021 was a good year for Sony, and this moves us to our next story, which comes to us from IGN.com, which comes to us from Jared Moore, and it's that PS5 finally breaks Nintendo Switch's 33-month streak at the top of the U.S. monthly hardware charts.
Yeah.
As per data collected by the NPD Group, the PlayStation 5 has finally come out top as the best-selling hardware in the U.S. in September, selling the most units and making the most money. So again, just a quick, easy one. I think you said this at the start. I don't believe you have.
What did I say?
I was gonna say I don't believe you have a PS5.
I did say this, but I do not.
Yes.
I definitely do not have a PS5.
But yes.
But I want one.
Well, yeah, I think that's why I told people. I think like out of all my friends, I would say probably about 60% of them have a PS5 now. So
what the hell did I find out?
yeah, so it's not super hard, but it's it's still pretty hard, especially this holiday season. I can imagine it being a nightmare.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like the apocalypse where like you know how people like fight over food.
Yep.
That's gonna be this. People is gonna fight over the friggin' PS5.
Yeah. Yeah, and then in September, hardware dollars across the U.S. increased by 49% compared to the same month in 2020. The total spent on hardware last month reached $412 million. So again, just a quickie, just another one, but it's just crazy because what was it? I think they said something like the PS5 is the fastest selling console, and that's when they, they're them being so understocked. Like I can't imagine what numbers they would be doing if everyone can get one.
Everyone can get it, right?
Exactly.
Oh man.
The one thing I do find crazy is the fact that Nintendo Switch was just selling for so long. For like 33 months is a long time.
33 months. That's almost 3 years.
Yeah, over 2 years.
Almost 3.
Yeah, because what was it?
I'm that old?
Yeah.
Well, 3 years is not that old, but it's kind of old.
Because
I'm still waiting for the beefy Switch. That's the one I'm gonna get.
Yeah, because what is it? Because I have bought 2 Switches. My fiance, so my sister bought a Switch for herself for Animal Crossing, and then we bought, my stepdaughter's birthday was in July, and
you got a Switch.
Well, so here's what happened was my fiance wanted to get the normal Switch, and I'm like, hey, I have the normal Switch. Don't worry about that. You can just use my Switch. It's no biggie. Get her the Switch Lite. It's like $100 cheaper. It's smaller. It's a good entry, level thing.
If she breaks it, it's not going to be as bad.
Exactly. The issue, however, is that my fiance kind of stole it and made her own. So like, my stepdaughter barely plays with it anymore. So every now and again, we're always just like, "Hey, do you want to play with the Switch Lite?" And she's like, "No, I have an Xbox. I'm fine." So we've tried to give it to her a few times, and she's just like, "Nah, I don't want it." So my fiance's just like, "All right, cool, mine now." She loves that thing, so it's getting used. It's not sitting in the drawer, but it kind of went from like being my stepdaughter's to being my fiance's.
It is like those memes, right? Where like, did the dad want to get the PS5? And then it's like, honey, it's for the kid. And the kid never gets to play.
Well, I remember my dad did that where he got the NES when I was born. But like literally like 2 days after I got born, and my mom was like, he's literally one. Like he can't even hold a controller, let alone like play video games. Why are you buying it this early? And he's like, no, it's for the kid. It's like, I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna learn it, and then I can teach him when he's old enough.
He will grow into it, honey. He will grow into it.
Exactly. But moving on from the Switch great sales over to some Switch controversies now. This comes to us from NintendoLife.com, and it's going over the Switch Online expansion pass, and comes to us by Thomas Whitehead. Which normally I wouldn't cover, you know, opposite services like Game Pass or things of that. But I do think, like, again, I do consider Gold and Switch Online kind of competitors, because that's something that's always annoyed me, is when people say, oh, you know, PlayStation Plus sucks compared to Game Pass. I'm like, they're two very different services. It's like comparing Amazon to Netflix. Like, yeah, okay, they're kind of similar, but
they overlap a little bit.
Exactly, but it's not a one-to-one comparison.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the Nintendo Switch is a lot closer. And something I've always praised the Switch for is, you know, it doesn't have a lot of features. Like, it's pretty much just, it was the cloud saving, and, you know, that's it. Like, the cloud saving and then the NES collection. And I'm like, you know what, cool. It doesn't have that much content, and it doesn't have the biggest, newest games, but you could get the family plan for like $20 a year for like 8 people.
Yo, that's cheap.
Yeah, compared to PlayStation and Xbox, which were like $60 a year.
60?
Yeah, which is still a lot, but like that's the price of one game. So you could, for like, you know, $20, you could get, and again, that was for a family plan. You could get like 8 people, and I think it broke down to something like $1.50 a month if you separated it between 8 people.
Yeah,
yeah, so I've always said, like, hey, you know what? Switch Online is not the best, but for the price, I can't recommend it enough. It is a great steal for that price. However, recently they talked about the expansion pack, which so before they had online
I heard about this.
Yeah, so they had online multiplayer, they had cloud saves, they had the NES and the Super NES free games, the Netflix subscription thing. That was all free. And they announced, so then they announced that they're adding an expansion pack, a new tier, a new subscription model, where that would add.
I'm already confused.
Well, no, so basically
they're saying something.
There's a new
tier
you can
keep going.
That adds N64 games, Sega Genesis games, and it adds the Happy Home Designer DLC for Animal Crossing.
Happy Home Designer.
Or, well, I think it's Happy Home Paradise. Excuse me.
No, because I thought it wasn't tying into anything. So like, that's just like a separate thing called Happy Home something. Like, well, what the hell is this? And then you said Animal Crossing. Okay, that makes sense.
It's basically DLC for Animal Crossing, which has more like customization stuff, but nothing major. So yeah, like I said, so originally it was 20, 30. I think it's 30. It was 32 in Canada. For
the expansion thing?
No. If it was, so originally it was like 32 in Canada for the year because of taxes and whatever.
Oh.
Yes. So the new expansion, if you want to get everything Switch Online has to offer, which is the Family Pass for 8 users, that is now going to cost $79 a year.
What the shit?
Or £69, or I believe it's 89 or 99 in Canada. Point is, the expansion is now more than Live and PlayStation Plus by a significant amount.
I mean, if we just go by like price wise, then it kind of sounds outrageous, right?
Yeah.
But you do get all those games, right? If you get this, you get all those games for free to play.
Yes, you get the NES, the Super NES, the N64, and the Genesis.
Yeah, so I can kind of see why they put it high, but like that's only if you're gonna play all of those.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's what I say. My initial thought was like, that's shocking, and like that's a lot. Because I'm a Nintendo fan, I bought it day one. No, but I do think this is interesting from a PlayStation standpoint, because something I've always asked my guests is like, Plus has been around 7-8 years at this point, and like
Yeah.
it has cloud saves, it has the free games, it has the free offers, the special, oh, you're a Plus subscriber, so you save an additional $10-20. But like I've
On
never,
sale.
yeah, I've never really said like I've always asked people like what else would you like to add to the service, that like and they've always been like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess free games.
But
As
you already get that.
exactly.
Oh, well, you...
Exactly. No, but the thing I find most interesting is that I think Nintendo is the first to actually have a legitimately interesting answer because, like I said, they're giving you the DLC to Animal Crossing for free. Now, the crazy thing is the DLC for Animal Crossing is $30 on its own. And basically, this expansion pack thing costs $30. So you could either get the DLC plus online, plus N64, plus Genesis, or you could just buy the Animal Crossing DLC individually for $30.
Which...
So when you say it like that, it's a much better deal. But it wasn't until like they pointed it out that I realized that's something that neither PlayStation Plus nor Xbox Live does is, they give you these free games like Mortal Kombat, like PGA, like Call of Duty, all this other stuff. But then you still have to go out and buy the DLC yourself. So even these free games, you're still having to spend money on later down the road. So
okay.
The thing I'm posing to you is, how would you feel if, let's say, it's 60 for Plus. Let's just say, they bump it up to 80. If they're like, hey, we're going to bump it up to 80, but you get every DLC for our games for free. You still have to buy the base game, but
base game,
yeah, but all the DLC for like God of War 2, Gran Turismo 7, Returnal, Ratchet & Clank, all the DLC is free.
That's actually a pretty good deal, honestly. If it's for like all the games.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the expansion thing for Nintendo here. Is it only for Animal Crossing for now?
For now.
Did they say like future titles gonna get like free DLCs too? Because if that's the case, that's good.
Well, that's my just assumption, because it's weird that they're only doing Animal Crossing DLC. For me, my fiance is on my family plans, and we play Animal Crossing together.
Yeah.
So that's a great deal for us. But like, my brother is on the plan, and he doesn't play Animal Crossing at all. So
he doesn't get it.
Exactly. This means nothing to him. So. But because like I said, I do find it interesting. Like, just maybe in my head, I feel like if they offer DLC, that probably actually save you a lot more money in the long run than if they did, like, because a lot of people have complained how like PlayStation Plus is only 3 games a month. It's like a PS5 and then 2 PS4s and this and like. I actually feel like it would, if they offer the DLC, that probably be even worth more money than just all the free games they offer throughout the year. Because as someone who's bought in a lot of DLC, like that stuff like adds up. I've spent I've spent an ungodly amount of money in Fortnite that I don't want to admit.
Are you a Fortnite whale then?
I want to say I'm a whale, but I've spent more than I'm comfortably. But
you're like a really big whale.
Yeah, but exactly. Like, I'm not gonna subscribe because Fortnite has its own monthly subscription thing, like everyone else.
Oh, wait, it does?
Yeah, like I think you get.
Oh, you mean the battle pass?
Yeah, they give you. Yeah, no, they give you the battle pass and like basically $12 worth of credits for free for about $15 a month. I personally would not. I personally would not subscribe to that service. But if PlayStation Plus was like, hey, for this month you get $10 for free in Fortnite, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And then like, hey, you get $10 free in Grand Theft Auto. And it's like, cool, you get $10 for free in Madden. That would not only get me to try more different games, like I think it would actually kind of grow the audience more, because you look at something like Call of Duty where you have the map packs, where I believe they still do map packs. Where it limit like
Call of Duty?
The last one I played was Black Ops 3, so I can't say.
No, Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, but I do think like DLC is a very interesting way to kind of
Yeah.
offer extra bonus because, like you said, like I really can't think of any other thing like to add to the service
It,
that's not just fluff. You know what I mean?
okay. The thing is, like, you can do like DLCs like that, but it can't be like a buffet, right? Because I think people when people think like, oh, you should like give DLCs for free,
Yeah. Mhm.
that adds adds up for them. Like it's stacked on top. So they give DLC for free for like God of War and like say if Uncharted has DLC, and those two are like let's say like the DLCs are out at the same time for some reason, right?
Yeah, because
So do
was
people get both for free because that's a lot of money that
exactly that.
they have to pay. So it's either gonna have to be like a specific thing for a month, like so you get God of War this month
Of course,
and
it
then
could be,
Uncharted next month,
which would
something
be
like that.
which would seem like a nightmare to, I guess, program because then you would have to program a way to know when the DLC is like on trial and when the DLC has been
Yeah,
bought. Like I said, like this is all speculation. Nintendo could just be crazy and be like, "No, it's only Animal Crossing. We're
it's
not
all
doing."
I
But like,
I think that's likely. That's my
yeah,
thought on it. I think it's probably just gonna be Animal Crossing because it just happens to come out at the
coincide
same time or something.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an easy sell right now.
yeah.
We'll have to see. I don't know. I think again we'll see where this goes. But yeah, I think that would definitely again like 'cause right now I think plus is the perfect price. It's $60 a year. That's the price of one game, and you get I'm
You
bad
get
at.
the online functionality, the
well,
sales,
well, that's gonna say
the
I'm
free
bad at.
games, even though you only play like two
Well,
in
that's
a
gonna say.
year.
Well, that's gonna
You
say
know?
I'm bad at math, but something like you get what 38 or something because you get three per month. You still get like more than double
36,
something like
36
that.
games.
36.
Yeah, three times 12, 36. Oh, you're close.
Quick
You're close.
maths. um, but yeah, point is like for me, like I think plus is the perfect price. And like there's always been talks of like, oh, when's it going up? The price is gonna go up. And like for me, like I don't think you can raise the price without offering a new service. And for
Oh,
the
hell no.
and for the longest time I've been like, I don't know what you could really offer that would justify raising the price. And this
So
is the first thing to make me really pause and go like, oh, okay, maybe that. I'm not gonna
the
say like,
DLC.
yeah, maybe the
Hmm.
DLC. I won't say it's 100% yes, but maybe. Uh,
I could see because the Nintendo thing they gave out the super old games, right? You can play all of it.
yes.
I was thinking, what if PlayStation did that for like the PlayStation catalog, but that's a little too much because
Well, and then it
they
gets
already have
now.
the PS1, yeah, you have now and all that, so it's kind of redundant.
Exactly. It's this weird thing of like, because even with what is, that's the thing I always find interesting is like, you get free games through Live, but then you also have Game Pass.
Yeah, I was almost confused for a second with like you said. Wait, you said live, but what about Game Pass? Oh wait, no, that's two different things.
Well, yeah, because you have what is it, Game Pass Ultimate, which I think is I think it's like, I think it's $80 or $90 a year, but then that gives you
Oh, oh, oh,
Xbox Live and Xbox Game
oh,
Pass for the year. So basically, it's just like
okay.
your whole Xbox is taken care of.
Oh, that's not bad. Then how much is live again? Like plus like 60?
Yeah, just live, just the two game or what is it, the 4 games a month, and online is 60.
Oh,
Yeah, but we'll have.
that's not a bad deal. Because if you're gonna need live anyway, and Game Pass is pretty freaking solid, get that, get both.
um, but yeah, so moving on from that, streaming and just speculating about the future. This one comes to us from PushSquare.com and it's by Liam Croft, and it's that Sony introduces game trials, except they didn't, to PS5 games to try for a limited time. I'll get into that for a second. So yes, they're giving Sony sent out a wave of emails that introduces a new feature for PS5 owners called Game Trials. Starting today, Sony is giving PS5 owners the chance to download certain first-party titles and try them out for free of charge for a limited time. The two games available are Death Stranding Director's Cut and Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Death Stranding offers a 6-hour trial, while Sackboy offers a 5-hour trial. The timer starts as soon as you download the game, so make sure you've got some spare time, otherwise you have wasted the opportunity.
Wait, what?
Yes.
That's some bull.
Yes, I get into that too. Accounts are limited to one game trial of each game. Since game trials are limited to PS5 titles, this doesn't work for the PS4 version of these games. Your save data and trophies will carry over to the full game should you choose to buy the title after the game trial expires. So I need to look into specifics. I've seen some conflicting reports because according to Sony, it's like when you start to download. So if you if the game says it takes 8 hours to download, you miss.
You're just wasting freaking data.
Exactly. I've seen some people say that no, it's when the game installs. I've seen people say no.
That's still bad.
Yes. So, I've seen conflicting reports. I can't say definitively like, oh, it works like this. Like, either way,
it has to be when you launch the game.
Yes, exactly. Either way,
right? There's no way they're gonna do it when the game downloads. That's just.
I know. I've had.
But you never know, right? You never know.
Yeah, thankfully, in my new place I moved into, I have much faster internet.
Yeah.
But I remember at my old house, it would take me a good 4 or 5 hours to download any game, let alone stuff as big as Death Stranding.
How big is Death Stranding?
Actually, give me half a second because I have my case. Well, I have the PS4 one. Hold on. So take this with a grain of salt, but the PS4 version base is 55 gigabytes. So let's just round out up to 75 for the director's cut.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's deep.
But no, so like I said at the start, the thing I find interesting is that this isn't the first time PlayStation has done this, because way back on
no.
the PS3, they actually let you stream Infamous and I believe Mass Effect 3, and they had a whole trial thing, and like you said, it was just, you could play the first, but the problem was, I remember those times were just minuscule. They only gave you 1 or 2 hours. So
that's
for a game like Infamous or Mass Effect, that's just the tutorial. That's an open admission. You really don't get to try the game.
Even especially on Mass Effect, because Infamous, you can just be in from the start. But in Mass Effect, that's from a lot of people. 2 hours, you haven't even created your goddamn character yet, so you don't even you're not even in the game by the 2 hours. You're like, oh, okay, I got my character done. Boom, demo's over. Wait, hold on. I haven't even played the game.
So like they said, this is still just a beta, a demo thing. This isn't an official feature PlayStation has rolled out. But I'm just curious to hear what if they added this to PlayStation Plus? We're hey, you can try any.
They added
yes to PlayStation Plus for just a bonus. They're hey, we're gonna increase Plus by $70, so it's $70 a year now instead of $60. But you get a free trial for every PlayStation game. But it's only 4 or 5 hours.
I mean, I think it's not a bad idea. In and of itself, if it 5 hours from when you start the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you get to try out all of it.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty good. Because we also used to have the demos on PS3 and PS4.
Honestly, I miss demos. I don't think children know how spoiled it, because certain games still get demos, but the weird part is the demo always comes out after the game has released.
What the hell?
Yeah, because I remember this is an old boomer moment, but I remember getting the PlayStation magazine, getting the demo disc, just playing those demos for hours. And then compared to now, where you just hop on, oh, cool, the demo's online.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll have to see if they actually go anywhere with this. But I think it's like a cool idea. Like you said, it's just the whole making sure people can actually play the games.
Yeah.
And
I don't think they're gonna do the stupid thing, but you never know because it's just too obvious, right?
yeah,
Not do that.
well, and like you said, we did it on PS3, and it was okay, but it wasn't this runaway success. It was just like a neat
Mm.
little feature. And then our
But I
last,
think
yeah,
like this time around it's gonna be better just because it's
it's longer
uh
times.
yeah the runtime because the demos back on the PS3 and PS, they were small
Mhm.
and you don't even really get to do a lot. Like some demos just like you play it and it's like wait you don't even know what the hell this is. But then you actually get to play the game
Yeah, well, yeah, it was
and
usually
that's
just like one Lego, not the whole. Because
a
that's the
lot
thing.
better.
Yeah, theoretically, for a game like Sackboy, you could beat like half or a good chunk of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and going to our last story for this episode, it's just a small update on Returnal. That the new Returnal patch,
Returnal.
yeah, adds suspend cycle, and photo mode. And this comes to us from the PlayStation blog by Harry Kruger, Krueger. I apologize if I'm messing up your name.
Krug. Yeah, Kruger sounds about right.
Yeah, so they're adding photo mode, quality of life improvements, but the main thing that people are excited about is the suspend cycle. One of the main features of this update is the suspend cycle functionality, which will allow you to pause your cycle to be continued later, letting you exit the game and turn off your console without losing your progress in that section. The structure of the game remains unchanged, so this functionality is not a traditional mid-game save option. By suspending the cycle, Returnal will simply create a single-use suspend point, and once you resume playing, the suspend point is deleted and cannot be used again. Your game will continue directly from the moment you left off. However, they won't be able to create a save point during boss battles, cinematics, first-person sequences, or during intense combat scenarios, as we feel there are certain moments in Returnal that are best experienced unfragmented to preserve the intended challenge and flow. Um,
Uh,
so the thing I find interesting about this is, people loved Returnal at launch. They said it was really cool. They loved the game, the story. But one of the big complaints was the fact that it being a roguelike, you had to beat the game in one go. Like, you couldn't pause and save. So, like, if you were in the middle of a 2-hour run and it's like 3 in the morning and you have work, the next day, like, you would basically just have
yeah.
to leave your PlayStation on the whole day, or either
Wait, you can't just put it on rest mode?
you can, but like then like there was no pause. So like, let's say you put your PlayStation on rest mode during a boss fight, the boss would still attack you even though the PlayStation's in rest mode.
What the
Yeah, so like there was no way to pause or do anything like that. You had to just play it in one go. And some players were complaining that like they've had runs last as long as 45 minutes. So the fact that you have to like play for 45 minutes
Wait,
and
how
then
short is like Returnal? Or not short, that long, rather, I guess.
let me
Because
check.
you said like you're doing like a 2 hour run, then that's not long. 2 hours to beat.
Beat.
This is pretty short.
Well, yeah, I'd have to look into it. So 20
Yeah,
hours.
it's all good. It's a 20 hours. How can you have a 2 hour run if the game's 20 hours long?
Well, that's the thing is that none of like compared to stuff like Hades or games like that sort, where like even if you die, your character will keep the stats or whatever. Returnal,
Yeah.
I believe you have to beat it in one go. So like if you
Uh,
die on level 3, you have to go all the way back to level 1. You can't just like slowly build up your stats. Like, so if you get a really good run,
uh,
yeah. So like I've had people complain that like, oh, they didn't do anything or
so okay, so the 2 hour run would be like I'm already in this for 2 hours, but have to go somewhere,
exactly
right?
like I
But
have to
they can't pause it like,
exactly.
oh well,
I can't
so
I can't
this
go to
is
bed.
over. I just lost 2 hours of this.
Exactly.
I can see that.
And well, the thing I've always find interesting is that you know, uh, something I've discussed with a lot of people is because like the kind of the big word right now is like accessibility and always trying to make it easy.
Accessibility, yeah.
Yeah, trying to make it easier and simpler for people to play games. Um, and
And
that
that's a
comes in
good thing.
and that comes in so many different forms because like something I never thought of is for what was it that the Xbox game which I'm blanking of like Unnurture or the one where you're small and you're like fighting bugs and stuff.
Limbo?
Bug
Wait, no.
Xbox miniature. I think it's grounded. Yes, grounded.
Grounded?
Yeah, it's
Oh
basically
yeah, I
yeah, it's
forgot
like
about that.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But you have little people and you're fighting like ants and spiders and all this other stuff.
Honey, I shrunk the kid, and we're gonna fight, and they're gonna fight monsters.
Well, the thing I find most interesting is the fact that something uh, friend of mine, Cameron Hawkins, he's an
Yeah,
arachnophobic,
I know him.
and
Okay.
something I never even thought of is like he's such an arachnophobic, like he can't even look at
Oh
spiders.
man.
He said stuff like he's like I can't watch Harry Potter, I can't watch
Oh
Lord of the
wait.
Rings, I can't watch like all these movies because they have spiders in them, and I'm like deathly terrified. And Grounded did this thing where they they basically
Yeah,
have a mode where you can
like take the spiders away, right?
well sort of so like basically it makes them less detailed to the point that they're basically just like spheres and like little limbs or whatever, so
Uh,
they're less
okay.
detailed. Exactly. So like there's different forms of accessibility. But I always found Returnal was very interesting because like the whole point of the game is that you have to die, repeat, die, repeat. Like
Yeah.
it's not meant to be a game that you come back and save. Like
Mm.
I do think there is supposed to be a certain level of struggle and you fighting with the game, you being like desperate and just like I want this run to end, but it's still going. Because
Yeah.
I know a lot of people just said like, oh, just add a save system. Let me save wherever, save 4 times, have hundreds of saves, save wherever I want. And like I disagreed with that because I think it takes away from what the game is trying to do, and it is trying to make you feel desperate and scared and like just fed up and like you wanting to give
Like
up.
every run, there's what you call it. There's risk, right? If you can
Exactly.
save anywhere, and
It,
you can load back in. That's
exactly. If you mess
where's
up,
the
yeah.
where's the challenge then? You messed up. Oh, just
And,
reload.
and a prime example of this, which is something because something I've heard people say is like, well, it's not for the people who jeopardize it. It's for the people who legitimately need that, like someone who has
Yeah,
work in the morning, who has kids, who has to get up. They can't
yeah.
stay in front of their PlayStation for 4 or 5 hours at a time. And something that I fully admit I've done this is that Fortnite has a feature where I guess it's like an audio setting for people with bad hearing,
Mm.
where if you toggle it, it will actually show you on the game, like on the HUD, like little icons about the direction of where gunfire is coming from.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and like the thing is, I don't need that, but ever since my friend showed me that, I just keep it on all the time because it's a lot easier to see the icon about where
Yeah,
people are because it will show you gunshots and footsteps
yeah.
and people healing. So it's like easier to find people and go like, "Oh, there's gunshots over there. Let's head that
So,
direction."
so you get like extra sheet, pretty
Ex-
much.
so like I can totally understand how people would abuse it. Um,
Yeah.
but
Oh
people,
no, that one's being abused.
well, and that was my worry with Returnal. So I'm honestly I'm very happy that they kind of found this nice middle ground where like, all right, cool, you get one save and then it's deleted. Like you can't spam it, you can't go back or whatever. You get one chance, and then if you mess that up, you got to do the run all over again, which I think is a nice medium.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it, at least for that game, because that's what it's all about, right? You have to risk, and then you have to either beat it or start over, because that's roguelike. You're supposed to die. You're
Exactly.
supposed to go in and there's a challenge and you have to like
Learn
try
and
to beat it,
improve and adapt.
learn it. Yeah, like the Dark Souls, or you're gonna have to keep dying.
Yeah, it's like
And then when you die, you get like extra stuff.
imagine
Or
how
I
much
don't know how.
no,
But
how much easier Dark Souls would be if you could just
yeah,
like reload to where like before you died at the boss.
yeah.
Yeah, like there's that risk rewards. But yeah, we'll have to see what other updates come to Returnal. But for now, that is going to bring us to the end of this very long-winded episode. I feel sorry, sir, because
Oh,
yes,
it's all good. I had fun. I had fun.
yes, I always enjoy having you on. But before we go,
Thank
real
you.
quick, we always because we're recording this real quick, we always take a look of the games for this month. So on Xbox Games with Gold, your free games for this month are Moving Out and Kingdom Two Crowns. Um,
Kingdom to Crown.
yeah, it is. Can I see polygons not loading? No. Okay, yep. So it's just that, and then over on PlayStation Plus for November 2021, you are getting First Class Trouble, which was in the recent State of Play, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, and Knockout City, which I love that game. It's a blast. It just kind of sucks that it's already on Plus, seeing how it came out March of this year, I believe.
What Amalur?
No, Knockout City.
Oh, not that city.
Yeah, that's the dodgeball game.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I know. Like it is.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, May of
People were
this year.
playing that a lot.
Yeah, well, because what was it when it launched? It was free for the first 2 weeks, and then after that, they're like, "All right, hey, you got a sample. Now you got to pay for it." And then the player base just dived off because nobody wanted to pay for it. So
A lot of like fighting game players were like checking that out when it came out.
yeah, it's a fun game. Like my biggest issue when it came out was just that it's a game. It was a game of service at launch. I'm like, oh, cool. I like the idea, but there's only like 2 modes and 3 maps. Like, I can't wait to see this when it gets more expanded, more built out. And now it's free on Plus, so I'm definitely excited to see how the game has improved and changed and done that. Since the thing, but.
I'm gonna have to like add that to the library and not play it ever, but I'll add it to the library.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks is because I'm doing the math. Yeah, they had the free trial 6 months ago, which sucks. Like don't get me wrong. I know one of people's big complaints is that Plus never gets new big games. It just sucks that this game specifically, it was free 6 months ago, and I guess it just didn't do the sales. That it has to go on Plus now. But hey, it's still a good grab for anyone who wants it.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. But that would do it for another episode of the Unofficial PlayStation Plus podcast. But if you want to keep the conversation going or just check out the daily happenings of the show, be sure to follow us all. Follow us at PS Plus Pod, all one word, Twitter, Instagram. Apparently the Facebook page got taken down. I don't know what happened there. I'm looking into it.
Wait,
Well,
wait,
no.
your page got taken down?
Well, no. I guess a little behind the scenes is Facebook has a setting where you can change accounts, right? So, I would always just, so I have an account for the, obviously the PlayStation Plus show. I have one for my Viral Vinny streaming and video essay channel. And then
Yeah.
I was just scrolling through Facebook one day, and I'm like, where's the PlayStation Plus tab? And I looked through it. I couldn't find it. I need to contact Facebook. I need to figure out what's going on. I need to know if it's actually taken down or if someone changed the login. Exactly. So
No, it was gone. I think it's taken down, so you're gonna have to like
yeah,
go talk to Mark about that.
fight him in the metaverse. But if you'd like to write it into the
Yeah.
show, actually, real quick,
The metaverse.
if you'd like to write in and have your letters read on air, you can do that over at PlayStationPlusShow@gmail.com. One last thing. Did you see the stuff about the barbecue sauce? I was telling my fiance about that, and she was just losing her mind.
Like the barbecue sauce.
When he announced, like, the whole, the Facebook company is becoming Meta, he's in his living room and he's has all these different books and plants and statues. And on one of the shelves, you can actually see a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce just chilling on the shelf. He's just like, oh, I want set dressing. Get some barbecue sauce.
Free advertisement. That brand.
Yeah. PlayStation Plus supports Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
Cool.
But before we go, where can people follow you, Mr. Sam? Because yes, I believe the last time you said you wanted to pimp all the Facebook groups.
Oh yeah, go join up at the Facebook groups too, because I still haven't
Podcast
personally
Beyond.
done
Podcast Beyond.
Podcast Beyond.
Kind of funny.
You don't even have to listen to the podcast. I haven't listened to either of the podcasts, and kept up on their stuff for so long. But people are cool.
Yeah, exactly.
in those groups, though. Go join a community. They're
exactly.
Good community.
It's a great place to just talk, discuss, not even just PlayStation, but even just Nintendo, all aspects of gaming, nerd culture.
Yep.
And if you want...
on kind of funny on Beyond, you can do that too, but people don't really realize that they always preface their
with
posts with
non-gaming stuff.
Non-gaming related.
Yeah, I know this isn't gaming related, but
it isn't gaming related. You can do that. It's not illegal.
Yeah, there's not a rule.
It's not a rule. You can talk about pretty much anything.
Yeah, and
most everything.
And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at ViralVinny, all the usual places. I post pictures of pumpkins and stuff. It's Halloween. I got a lot of Halloween pictures I got to get through. But until next time, thank you, sure. Again, it's always a blast to come on and talk Mortal Kombat.
It's been fun. Initially, I was like, man, I'm going to bomb so hard, but after a few episodes, I'm kind of getting the hang of it.
Exactly. It's just
it's always fun coming on here.
Exactly. It's something you got to practice at. But I've been Vincent Kenny. He has been our guest, Mr. Sam. And this has been the Unofficial PlayStation Plus podcast. And until next time, long live play, whenever, wherever, forever.